Hello. How is everybody? Happy holidays and happy New Year to everybody. Well, New Year's Eve, but you know what I mean. Luminaria says Happy New Year's Eve, Peeps. Caroline says Happy New Year's Eve, Sean and Peeps. Linda says, here's hoping 2024 is a great year for you and your family. Thank you. You too. Nimue says, hello everyone. Hope you're all having an enjoyable last day of the year. So far, so good. Just had an email to say I've gone live, so that's good. There's 25 of us here. I genuinely didn't expect very many people to come. Justin UK is here. Hello. I have my hot chocolate, of course. I still have 2 left after this one. Yes. Fox is here. Hello, Peeps. Hello, hi, Peeps. Sorry. Putting words in people's mouths. I got my coat cut out yesterday. It is a giant pile of red and chocolate biscuit fabric. I am quite excited about this coat. I've gone for 31 inches long because that is a length that I like on me, and it is except for my maxi dresses, it's the length or at least the length, or if not longer than the majority of my dresses, because they range between sort of 28 to 31 depending on how much fabric I have. Oh, this is so delicious. And Jane says, hi all, hello. Jacob Clee says, morning all, happy new year. I have just seen your emails. I'm so sorry, your messages on Facebook. They've gone into my other folder and I'd just seen them and I was just like, oh, so I haven't been ignoring you. I remembered when I saw them that I had seen one because it popped up on my phone in front of me. So I was like, oh, and then I had to go and track it down and find it. But then the other ones that you've sent me have all gone into that others folder that I really don't check very often. So I wasn't ignoring you, but thank you very much for taking the time to message me. MJB says, evening all, good evening. Elena says, hello, lovely shining Peeps. Hello. Fox says, are you wearing a Jackie dress? I am, and I'm wearing the little McCalls 7829 shrug that I love because it's just this combination together makes me very happy. And this is the pattern that I want to use this fabric for. So this is a lot heavier than this fabric, but this is doubled back on itself. So I'm planning on only doing one line, you know, making this bit so this doesn't double back. But yeah, I want to make at least one, if not 2 of those, except that fabric is really expensive. A couple of other people have said to check out Pound Fabrics, and they've got some really nice ones that I might get myself. But yes, I do love this. I'm just going to look up the Pantone color of 2024. Peach Fuzz. That actually works quite well for me because peach is definitely one of my colors. I need the more vibrant sides of that, but I have a little vibrant corally peachy section right there. So yes. Joker Clee says, roll on the floor laughing my ass off. Gotta love the spam filter. Lol, that's where I usually wind up. Yes, sorry about that. Debbie says, hi Sean, happy new year. Hello Debbie, to you too. I am drinking one of your lovely chocolates. Thank you. I'm kind of drinking it quite quickly because I did have the room set up in cutting out mode, and I came down. I woke up late, came down late, and wanted to get the room turned back into sewing mode before starting the stream. And yeah, I literally had like 30 seconds before I would be late for the stream, so I've left my hot chocolate on the side. So it's currently perfect drinking temperature. Liminari says, I keep wanting to make a maxi length coat, but Wisconsin slush is invasive. Blech. Yeah, so 31 inches for me is I'm going to show you my fabulous sockies. But 31 inches for me is about this length. Jackie dress comes to about that length, so it's not going to keep my ankles warm. But at this time of the year, I tend to wear boots anyway. I have a fabulous selection of boots, so yeah. And hopefully, but then I don't have to wade through feet of snow. I don't remember the last time we had feet of snow. So yeah, maybe that length isn't something that would work for you, because in my head maxi is down to like ankle level, if not the floor. And I would nearly did it. I really did nearly do the Angela Clayton coat, the orange one, in this walk, because I had 8.5 meters of it, and that's what I've got left. I haven't measured this, but I'm kind of guessing that's 2.5, possibly 3 meters. And I'm going to try and do the Vogue biker jacket with this wool, because I think it's going to look awesome. And that biker jacket, I do eventually want to get to the point of being able to do it in yellow leather. I'm still going to have to phone up Pittards and ask them if I can come over and if I can bring my pattern pieces, so that I can put them onto the pieces of leather and then buy the leather in one go. That's going to be incredibly expensive. But I think it's going to be worth it, because that leather jacket, that yellow leather Karen Millen jacket, has lived rent-free in my head for a very long time. And it was a cropped one as well. So I can always crop this Vogue jacket. I don't have to put the peplum on, but I think I'm going to like the peplum. But we shall experiment. Gin and Pin says, Happy New Year's Eve, peeps. Can't stay long as I haven't been out since before Christmas and need stuff to eat for work next year. And as always, cat food and litter. Get your priorities right. Kitty cats, yes. Yes. I've done that thing where I always do Chi. I buy Chi a 3 kilogram bag of food, and it lasts her about 2 months. And I swear I've got it on repeat order from Amazon, and I haven't. And I get down to she's got a bowl full left, and it's ordered, but it might not get here in time, so she might be living off cat treats tomorrow. I am a bad cat mommy. Mim's here, wishing everybody a happy new year. You too. Catherine says, greeting all, was making myself a big fat Black Forest Gatto hot chocolate. Bought a box, will review. Luminaria said, she says to Luminaria, you could try using wax cotton deep hem facing. Oh yeah, something like, because they used to do detachable like skirt protectors, didn't they? That they were expecting those to get destroyed, but it would protect the skirt. But I don't know, because like wool kind of does want to attract and suck up and then hold on to water, doesn't it? I am finishing my hot chocolate, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do today. Sikaya's sewing closet. I know I say this. I say your name differently every single time, and I'm sure I'm not saying it correct even once. Hopefully, I'm slightly close. Hi from Detroit. Happy New Year's, and to you too. Thank you for joining us. Jojo's here. Hello all. Hope you are well. Very well, thank you, my love. How are you? Nimue says, I'm actually playing at my sewing table for the first time since Christmas Eve. Needed a crochet on the couch break after gift sewing. Now catching up on the temperature quilts. Nice. Nice. I have done no actions towards doing any kind of temperature anything for next year. And I know I can like retroactively do it, but I think I want to put a little bit more planning into it. Plus, I am going to try and be more stash busty next year than I have been. I need to get my 2023 diary down, because I've not looked at it once this week, to be honest. But I need to get it down because I have written in it everything that I've made, everything that I've bought this year, and I am going to do a 2023 review. I'm not going to do a December lookbook because it will all be in the 2023 review. And honestly, I made 2 of the projects that I said that I wanted to out of the 4. The coat is cut up. There is absolutely 0 chance that I'll be able to finish that today because we have nice plans this afternoon. About 4 o'clock, I'm going to go and do a grazing platter for Mum, Dad and I, and we're going to play board games or card games, possibly the Detective Society episodes that I bought Dad for Christmas and birthday last year, and see if they want to do that. But I really enjoy them. I think they do too, but they might enjoy cards and stuff more. So we'll do whatever they want. But I'm planning on. I probably will be awake at midnight, but I'm planning on an early night. And yeah, that's why I can't sit and just work on this coat. And honestly, if I work for 24 hours straight, I could finish the coat, but it might not be that great at sewing towards the end of those 24 hours. I was thinking I might give sewing together the lining a bit of a go today with you guys, because that's really easy. It's just, there's no like tailoring bits in that. The only thing that I've changed for the lining is I added an extra inch at the back of the top of the back, grading into nothing, just so there's a bit of a movement pleat at the top of the coat. But other than that, I put in a facing as well. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Elena says, collection of boots sounds so delightful. I love my boots. I love my boots. One of the first videos that's going to be coming up in the new year is going to be the 2023 review, bullet journal flip through, and then I have another sponsorship with Lily Silk, which I'm so excited about, and they've sent me 3 new pieces. And whilst I've been doing the whole kind of like luxury basics, I kind of have my luxury basics covered from them, so I've branched out and gone for some more exciting things, and I hopefully have a good idea of what I want to do with them. So like make the video for that, and it's got to be up by the 7th, but they need to review it. Dad has dug out his camera for me because my little Canon G7X Mark II is 7 years old, and it does very good videos close up, but it does not do the best videos that you've ever seen in your life far away, and it also does not take good pictures. And the video quality isn't high enough for screenshots, as we have found out. And I really, really want to up my game for photography next year. I think I've said this for the last few years in a row, but I'm actually doing something about it now. Well, say that. I went downstairs and asked Dad about it last night, and he's very kindly got the camera out. He's put a new battery in the remote. He's looking for the instruction manual because he's put that somewhere safe and can't find it at the moment. But yeah, I'm gonna try and up the photography game next year. So yeah. Yes. Lollapalooza's here. Morning and Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. All the best for 2024 for you too. Luminaria says to Catherine, that's an excellent idea. I have to put some thoughts into implementing that. Good plan. And Ari says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Joker Clue says, you're going to join us in doing what we always do on here. We're going to take over the world and relieve them of their stash of pineapple and lemon fabrics. Joker Clue says, and occasionally create and suffer through random shenanigans, tomfoolery, and the occasional problem. Lol. Yes. That was delicious. Thank you. Right. So, of course, I did. So yesterday I did my coat cutting out in a different order than I usually do, because usually I most dislike cutting out the interfacing and, you know, the extra bits that you have to do. I most dislike cutting those out, but I decided yesterday I was going to start with those. So I got the interfacing done. I got the lining done. I got the calico backstay done. I felt very virtuous. Then I cut out the lining. Then I cut out the cotton flannel. And then the final thing that I cut out was the wool. And that worked really well. I was quite considering calling it quits when I'd got the flannel done. I was just like, but I persevered and I got it all done. So I'm very pleased with that. And it was a good order to do it in. Do the bits that I don't like first, and then move on to the more fun bits, kind of, as it were. I also had to alter the pattern and trace out and cut out the calico pieces for the velvet coat because it's exactly the same pattern. And I've done that as well. So I'm feeling very virtuous. Now I just need to order the velvet. And go from there. Hang on, I'm trying to do a million things at once and failing at all of them. Ooh. Mum borrowed one of my patterns. She's been, oh, excuse me. She's been sewing up on the overlocker. So she got a dress that she had cut out for ages. I think James and I bought her the fabric for her birthday, possibly Christmas last year, I don't remember. And a couple of t-shirts. She's got one still half done, so she needs to finish that, which is why the overlocker is still out. But yeah, she borrowed my dress pattern because she's got majority of those dresses, so I've lent her the pattern. The only change she has to make is to make the sleeves shorter. But now that's away. What's hard? Let's see. Catherine says, after finishing my slow sew jacket see Peeps group, I'm now tackling a zip fly on the matching trousers with feline assistance. Nice. Vox says, is it bad for cats to eat paper? I'm cutting a PDF pattern and the cats keep running away with bits of paper and I have to keep running around after the house. Yes, don't let them eat it. But she does exactly the same thing. She also pulls pens out. She used to sit there when I was cutting out in the kitchen of the last house. She would sit on the counter, look at me and start picking up the ends of the pins and pulling them out. And it's just like, no. Oh, yeah. Nimue says, you really want to like a temperature project, or I think it will get really difficult to stick with it for the entire year. If you love your project, it's great fun. Yeah, I think I need to also put some effort into picking the colours that will work for me, because I'm thinking like corals and blues with some yellow in there, and they obviously need to work with each other to a degree as well. So yeah, I haven't put enough thought into it, but it is something that I would like to do. Catherine says, did you see Bernadette Banner's 24-hour sewing marathon? Yes. Yeah, she was working on the cape, wasn't she? And she was fully convinced that she was going to get the cape finished. She did not get the cape finished. Jenny Pin says, I had a disaster yesterday. My circular needles broke while I had 300 plus stitches on. So I need to go get another and then pick up all the stitches. Oh no. Oh no. That was something actually I was asking Mum, because I want to knit a blanket because I can knit straight lines. And I want it to be, so it's going to be 365. No, yes, because it's still a leap. It's not going to be a leap year when I do it. So 365 long and then plus 12, that's 75, 70. So 377 rows long. So I want it to be 377 stitches wide because that's square then, and that would make me happy. How do I put 377 stitches onto a needle? Does it have to be on a circular needle? Will that work? Knitting people? Because Mum just looked at me like I was crazy and said, no, you need to knit it in sections and then you stitch it together afterwards. And that sounded immediately like something I would not do. And I was thinking, oh, I could always do squares, but then they wouldn't be even squares because the months aren't evenly split up. So that wouldn't work for me. So yeah, let me know in knitting people how I would do that. Elena says you should have restrictions on the amount of projects per month. I'm planning on doing things a bit differently next year. I've now been able to look at my stats for this year in comparison to last year. And one of the lovely things is last year I had 1.2 million views over the year. And ideally, I'd like that monthly. That would be amazing. But I clearly need to make more interesting videos for that to happen. This year, I've had just under 1 million views, and I've put out fewer videos because I used to obviously put the waffles out on the main channel, and I took those Patreon exclusive in November last year. So the fact that I took away a good sort of like 2 videos a week, and I nearly had the same amount of views as I did last year is amazing, absolutely amazing. So thank you everyone for watching. But I've made less than half what I did last year from YouTube. But yeah, it's mad that there's 200,000 more views last year than there was this year on more videos. So it's mad to me that that has made me less than half of the amount of money that I made last year. And that is not all my fault. It's not all YouTube's fault either. I'm not trying to pass the blame because I clearly need to make more interesting videos. So I'm thinking of doing kind of the one project a week kind of the words escaped me, but the model, the kind of one project a week model that people have been doing. So rather than doing the planning videos, the roundup videos, those kind of like in between videos, although what scares me is they are some of my best viewed videos. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, Elena, I'm definitely going to try and keep an eye on, the amount of things that I'm planning on doing. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking this year is going to be a lot more over the top projects as well. January is going to be a really weird mismatch of things that are coming out on the channel because, like I say, 2023 year in review, 2024 bullet journal, the sponsored video, which is going to be a styling lookbook, and hopefully I can make that interesting because I've watched my previous ones, and whilst I really enjoyed them, it wasn't like giving any value. It was just showing off what I'd made and how I'd made it. So hopefully this time I can do it like, here's a challenge that I want to give myself, and here's how I tackled it, and here's how you can do it too. I still want to do the sew-alongs because they are the best performing videos in the long run on the channel, and obviously the mini tutorials as well. But I'm thinking I'm going to go to the one project a week model. And I also think that I might be trying to kind of go down the extra project for Patreon because I know I want to make more than 52 projects this year. Although having said that, I've only really kind of just got over that number for this year's projects, although there was about 20 alterations, and I did try a lot of muslins and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that's kind of maybe what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure yet. Nothing like being prepared. Jojo says, I'm defo meh at the mo. Will be a quiet hangout, going to be a bit of a lurker. Migraine loading slowly, and I'm feeling mildly hard done by. Great, sarcastic thumbs up. Oh, sweet pea. Many gentle hugs. MJB says, gin and pins, what a nightmare. Jojo says, oh no, gin and pins, what a nightmare. Nightmare. Are you back on track now? Joker Clee says, no lurking without a license. Luminaria says, migraine, she gets a pass. Yeah, totally. Totally. Catherine says, can you share how you draft the backstay? Sure, yeah. I did very much the same thing that I did with the very much the same thing that I did with the Sorrento jacket. I drew the pieces and laid it over the so I put in the seam allowance, laid it over so the stitching lines met up, and then I've cut it out of calico, and then I've pinked the bottom edge just so that it isn't a harsh line. I don't think it's gonna, it doesn't show on any of the other jackets that I've done exactly the same thing for. But yeah, that was, I don't know if that's right, but it worked for that one. And I did the same. The Gertie Princess coat comes with a backstay pattern, and I stole that to make the storm flap on the back of my trench coat version. Well, it's hard. But yeah, I can quite happily show you guys how I did that. Gin and Pin says, tomorrow I'm going to go through my stash and plan my next makes. I'm going to try not to buy any patterns unless absolutely needed. Chanel jacket, handbox skirt, dungarees, etc. Trying to use the stash. I've not bought patterns once this year. I didn't even cave during the Black Friday sale. And I'm quite pleased with myself. I still want a bunch of patterns. I really do. I really do want quite a lot of patterns, and I will at some point do that. But as I say, my income has been cut in half this year, so it really has been a year of being financially responsible-ish, financially responsibly adjacent, I think would be a better description. But yeah. And Ari says, no offense, better to have your sleep. It helps reboot your brain. Absolutely. Jacob Clee says, my next make is hopefully some new shelves for the sewing room and maybe a sewing table. I love my sewing table. I love this. I love this so much. And yeah, I need to pull my finger out and do the sewing room tour, don't I? I've got so many videos that are like 75% edited that need little bits and pieces to be refilmed or filmed in new, and I am not looking forward to it. But yeah. Yeah. Vox says, oh my gosh, she pulls pins out. Yeah, and she does it whilst looking me in the eye. She comes over and grabs the end of the flower head pin and then looks at me and pulls them because she knows she gets an immediate reaction. She's sitting on my patterns because she wants attention. She was hilarious this morning. She's kind of realized that if she tries to wake me up ridiculously early, I get up, go to the bathroom, come back and go back to bed and ignore her. So she's gotten to the point where she gives me till about 10 o'clock. And I usually don't get up till I wake up multiple times during the night. I don't sleep very well. So I let myself, I don't try and force myself to get up early. Mum and Dad tend to get up around about 8 and then potter around, and they're ready by 10 as well. So kind of works for us. But yeah, not sleeping particularly brilliantly. And so Chi has worked this out, that if she is quiet and patient until it's about 10 o'clock, then she comes over and suddenly starts like rubbing herself all over the face, and she's like, I love you, purr, purr, purr. Because the first thing that I do when I actually get up and acknowledge her is give her her play treat ball that she has to bat around to knock the treats out of. And so it's all purr, purr, purr. Cuddles, she lets me cuddle her and does the air biscuits whilst I'm cuddling her because she's on her back and I'm stroking her tummy, and she's like, air biscuits. So I tolerate this because I get treats, and then she gets the treats, and then she goes to sleep for the rest of the day. But yeah, she's a little madam. She used to sit there and look at me as she was pulling the pins out, and I'm just like, stop it. Julia Elizabeth says, good morning. Good morning. Joker Clee says, you could channel the neon gods of the 1980s. Lol, it definitely was different, that's for sure. Don't tempt me, I like neon. Catherine says, trouser progress shared to the group. You'd get very fed up of the weight if you did 377 once you get to the second half. Could I knit it in 2 halves? I wouldn't mind, like, I mean, what I'm thinking was long strips that. Oh, and then that I would then sew together or knit together or crochet together with like white. And I've just had a brainwave. It's like I could do 1 month with horizontal stripes and 1 month with vertical stripes, except I think I did the hand actions at the opposite of what I was saying in my brain. But that could be quite fun, couldn't it? Would that work? Would that work? No, that wouldn't work. It wouldn't work because I need to do multiples. No, no, ignore me, ignore me. But yeah, what I was thinking is basically knitting a long scarf and then binding that one off and then sew them all together towards the end. Would that work? Would that work? Caroline says, I would use a circular needle with at least a 1 meter cable. MJB says, the blanket won't turn out square, Sean. The knit stitch is higher than it is wide. You will need to make a little swatch and do some gasp maths. Oh, no. And then she says, and yes, you will need circular needles. Jojo says, yep, circular needles for the win. I have tons here if you want me to send you some to try. Oh, Mum's got tons as well, although I don't know if she'll allow me to try those. But yeah. Would knitting it in like, 28, yes, 28, because it's going to be done next year, as in 2025. So not a leap year. Would that work? Knitting it into sort of like 30-day stripes and then adding it all together. Joker Clee says, don't forget to mangle the like button too. Oh, yes, please. There's 74 of us and 31 likes. Wow. Julian Pin says, you can get long circular needles which could hold that number of stitches, but it would get incredibly heavy in a short amount of time. Is the idea of doing it in months a good one? I've knit scarves before. That's why I was thinking this way would be okay, because there's no like I can probably manage this. Nimue says maybe project a weekend planning roundup per season. Clothing follows seasons anyway. I was thinking about that because I do want to do one for my Anaconda Antithesis collection. But yeah, I would still do fabric hauls if I got new fabric in, I think. Jojo says, lolling at Joker Clues, my lurking license isn't renewed until midnight. Give a girl a break, will ya? I'm also struggling with the concept of actually lurking and staying quiet. Marie says, morning everyone, how is everyone? I think my Sojo has come back. I have had a dismal year this year with only 14 items made and half were awful, but watching and cutting, but I'm cutting out a scout dress whilst watching. Ooh, pretty. I've really loved everything that you have made, Marie, because the things that you've shared on the Peeps group have all been beautiful. Lalapalooza says, weekly progress videos on project is an idea. I enjoy the sewing, but I also tend to fall asleep on a long step-by-step video that some others put out. Oh no, I don't want them to be, no, they would be like, I'm aiming for sort of 20-minute videos, like a roundup of the project. And some of the projects are going to be in multiple pieces as well. So they would be like I'm making this part of it, this part of it, this part of it, and they will come out week by week. I mean, in a perfect world, I want to put out 1 million videos. Like I've got so many ideas for videos that I want to put out. I just don't have the time to make everything that I want to make and make the videos to go along with it. I don't know. Because all the wisdom says that you should stick to a schedule. And I fully intend to do that. And I have been doing that this year. Maybe not be so rigid and put out videos that I want to put out when I want to put them out, but with like you will get a Friday video I'm actually thinking a Thursday video, but you will get a Thursday video every week, and then anything else is a bonus. But I don't know if that's detrimental to the channel because of the algorithm and the way that things are shared on YouTube, and I don't know. I don't know. Julie Elizabeth says, I knit a blanket on a circular needle, 2 strands together, 120 stitches on the needle. It was unwieldy and heavy, and I don't recommend it. Catherine says, 12 Doctor Who scarves on regular needles, then sew them together. That could be amazing. Sorry, but again, I don't think you mean it in the way that I'm envisioning it in my head. But I think making 12 months of coloured temperature like scarves and then sewing them together or knitting them together or crocheting them together. I'll have to get Mum to help me with that, I'm sure. I think that's probably the way that I need to do it. So Felicia says, Happy New Year's, everyone. Yes, you too. Jane says, 2024 is a leap year. It is indeed. Nimoy says, lunch is ready. See you later. Indeed. MJ says, strips would work. Squares would look fab too. The only trouble with squares is that the months aren't even. So they wouldn't be the same size squares, and that would bug me. So I think I need to do strips. So, yeah. Gin and Pin says, I was knitting a square shawl with 2 strands of double knit and only 125 rows long and heavy before I got to 80 rows, which probably explains the needle breaking. Jenna says, sure, you can knit strips and sew them together. I think that's going to be the way that I do it. Michelle says, hello and Happy New Year, lovely peeps. You too. Lollapalooza says, I'm always shocked that Bianca doesn't have a much higher viewer count. I know. Me too. So, should we do some actual sewing? I need to go and get thread and rethread the machine and oil it and clean it and do all those things. So by that time, I might actually have gotten out of the sewing mood. But should we do some actual sewing? Do I have the right colour thread out here? No, I do not. Which of, for you guys, because you guys are usually the most active in the comments as well as on these kind of things, which of my videos do you guys like to watch? Given the choice, what would you like to see more of in 2024? She asks as she takes her head away from the camera. I'm trying to do stupid things. Let me go and get some brown thread. Brown. We'll do that one. Because you guys are the ones that watch and enjoy. So what would you like to see more of? Let's Catherine says, top stitching by hand here, easier to get around the zip bits. Caroline said, if you're going to use white to stitch together, you could use white for the missing days to make the months even. But visually, that would stand out to me more than that. Yeah, no, that to me would stand out more in my my immediate reaction to that is like, nope, that would bug me. That's why I'm thinking strips rather than squares. Box says, I love the lookbooks and rewatch them when I need something inspo or just look at the pretty things that bring back the will to sew. Oh, thank you. So when I say I'm not planning on doing the monthly lookbooks, I would still do lookbooks, and hopefully this one that's coming out next week will be interesting. Because it's going to be using some bought pieces and some made pieces to put together some outfits that are very far outside of my comfort zone. There is not one print in sight, which for me is kind of a big deal. And if and when I do finish the Anaconda Antithesis collection, I would want to do a lookbook for that, which would probably end up being quite a long one. There's about 35 projects here, although a lot of them are t-shirts and then little tops and things like that I just have excess fabric that is the right kind of colors to go in with this. So yeah, right, you are I need a needle and I need this. So there wouldn't never be a lookbook because I do enjoy putting them together and I do enjoy filming them, but I think I need to do it in such a way that it isn't just a look at all the things I've made, but kind of be like solving a problem. I don't know. The thing is, I've decided to make this my job. I have decided that this is how I want to earn my living, and I need to do it in such a way that appeals to people and making the videos that I want to make. I think if I just put slight twists on some of them, they might have done better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be playing around with the channel this year, basically, or in 2024, basically, because honestly, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, we'll see. Nicola says, hello peeps, I prefer to watch more sewing videos, anything sewing related. The colour analysis and styling videos are not my bag at all. Love the sew-alongs. They will still be sew-alongs, 100%, because as I say, they are some of my best performing videos. The first one that you're going to see is 9076. I absolutely promise. 100%. I've decided that January is going to be my let's get everything finished month because I've got a bunch of projects on the table here and I want to get them all done so I can have a clean slate to then start working on this. And I've got plenty of time to do that. So January is going to get my get everything done month, which I'm excited about. Where did I get to the chat? Catherine says, I find the little tutorials for fiddly bits most useful, but I also like the company on Sunday mornings. I'm 100% planning on doing mini tutorials anytime there is a big sew along that you guys ask for or have voted for if you're a Patreon peep. There will be probably some kind of like mini tutorial that I can cut out of that and then make it into its own separate standalone video. And so it will be repeated content, but one of YouTube's metrics that they judge whether videos are successful or not is retention and watch time. And I don't want people to have to come to, I don't mind repeating content if you know, I've done like an hour and a half long sew along for the 9076, for example, that you guys want to see how to pipe a cuff on a dress, and how I've gone from turning it into a turned back cuff into a piped cuff. I'll show you that in the full sew along in full detail, but then I'll also cut that out and make it into its own standalone video, so that if you want to look at just that particular technique, you can go to the 10-minute, probably in that case 15-minute mini tutorial, rather than having to scrub through the entire long video. Even though I'll chapter it, as I say, one of the things that YouTube judges popularity of videos on, or success of videos on, is retention and watch time. So somebody scrubbing through a video and just watching a 10-minute section of an hour and a half long video is great for you guys because you get what you want. But YouTube's just like, ooh, they're only watching 10 minutes of this thing that you put an hour and a half into. So no, I'm not going to share that to more people. So yeah, the mini tutorials is 100% going to carry on, because I really enjoy doing those, and I like having that library of things to look back on. Mum uses them, even though technically she has the real thing in the house. But yeah, so that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Catherine says, without going back to check, do you have a playlist of mini tutorials? I do. I'm going to see if I can change up the front page of YouTube a little bit, because there's a landing page when you come to my site, and then you click on videos to get like the chronological order of videos, and then there's playlists and shorts and lives all on their separate headings. And the playlists, there's a lot of playlists. I've put a lot of videos out. So I think what I will do is see if I can put the mini tutorials on to the landing page. But yes, every mini tutorial that I've done has its own playlist. It is in the mini tutorials playlist. There's about 28 videos in there. So I might go further. I might have a look at some of my videos and see if I can go further into, say, for example, bias binding, or you know, kind of like break it down into categories a bit better. That's another thing that I'm going to probably do for my website as well, is have a page on the website that's all the playlists ordered, so that you can search on the website for something specific, go to that video and then click on it, and it will take you to YouTube that way. I know that's an extra step, and I know that's a step that only people probably that are, you know, devoted followers of the channel will do. But I'm trying to work out ways to make the channel, because there's so much content on there now, that it's more navigable, if that's a word. I think it is, for you guys. So yeah. Julie Elizabeth says, I'm shaped like a potato, so I am very interested in how to fit clothes well. Sorry, just woke up, so words no worky well. Yeah. Welcome to the Potato Peeps, Julie Elizabeth. I'm sorry, that's brilliant. Jojo, Erica, and I are Potato Peeps. Oh. But words no worky well, that's fine. I am not a fit expert. I am self-taught, so the body I know how to fit is mine and my mum's, basically, because mum is basically a shorter version of me. We are planning on doing some videos, a series next year of mum and I make exactly the same project, and then give you guys a review of what it looks like on a mid-40s and then early 70s figure, and how we've adapted it for mum's preferences and my preferences. We're going to start with the Vogue coat. Mum has promised me, because I had wanted to do that this year, and I had really wanted to do that this year, but mum has a busier schedule than I do, and also mum has less sewing stamina than I do, and mum also has a different schedule for her day than I do. And so we did start trying to do some projects together earlier this year, as you guys know, with the slopers and things, and I ended up having to wait for mum to kind of catch up, and because I needed to put videos out, it wasn't working that way. So mum has agreed to take a couple of weeks of holidays through the year so that we can do these projects together, and the first one's going to be for the Vogue 1669 coat. She's got her fabric and her lining fabric that we need to buy some more interfacing, because that's run out, and I have my fabrics as well. But her lining fabric arrived the other day. It's got little griffins on it. It's from Fabworks Mills. Little griffins. And her outer fabric is actually black with teeny tiny orange polka dots on it, so it's going to look awesome. But yeah, she's decided that she's going to take a week off from her schedule of things. She can have a week's holiday to devote to the coat making so that we can go through it and get it done together, rather than me do mine in like 3 days, and then she's still like 2 weeks down the line still working on hers, because she doesn't have as much time to dedicate it to it as I do. So yeah, that's what we're planning on doing. Marie says, I like the sew-alongs and the lookbooks. The lookbooks seem to be quite popular, so maybe I need to keep those. And the fact right here, they are some of my best performing videos, the fabric hauls and the lookbooks. I'm still planning on doing a lookbook, like it probably, I was thinking maybe like a quarterly one of like everything that I've made January, February, March. And then obviously, you know, you guys know how quarters work. I was thinking maybe doing that, but I don't know, maybe monthlies. Lollapalooza says the mini how-to zippers, techniques and stuff. Yes, they're definitely staying. Sharon says, Happy New Year from Australia. Happy New Year. Lisa says, I love all your videos, but I particularly enjoy technique, pattern hacking, or creating the look videos too. Cool. Jojo says, I like the bigger projects with fitting to wrangle and construction puzzles to solve. I really enjoy seeing your and other folks' working process, plus planning. I love in-depth plans. You guys are talking me back into doing my regular schedule, because the reason that I was thinking of changing things up is because this year has just not done well. And so I was thinking I need to shake things up, but maybe I need to shake things up in an additional way rather than a complete restructure. We shall see. Joker Clee says, breaks out his internet toolbox, which consists of a large hammer, a monkey wrench, and a Manitoba smoke wrench. Nice. And tinkers with Sean's channels before she gets there. Jane says, find the mini tutorials on particular techniques very helpful. Enjoy the planning ones and the colour play, and really enjoying the ones with Nicola. Enjoy seeing your process while sewing. Okay, cool. Catherine says, without going back to check, do you have a playlist of mini tutorials? I read that one out and answered that already. Jen Pin says, have you seen Retro Claude? She has announced she can no longer sew or knit for the foreseeable future for health reasons, and it's her job as well. I know. I watched her video yesterday and it was just like, oh, I want to give you a gentle hug. I love her channel. Yeah. Yeah, that made me very sad for her. Luminaria says, I most enjoy your sew-alongs. And though I tried not to encourage the extra spending, your fabric hauls are always fun in a completely different topic. Your journaling process is also interesting to me. So now that I have my printer that works down here, I want to do what I was planning on doing last year with you guys on Sundays, is the project life. I have it all. I want to work on that. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to start next Sunday's hangout, and I want to prep everything ahead of time, so decide on a colour scheme and things like that ahead of time, so that it's literally just a case of putting everything together with you guys whilst chatting for the hangouts. I'm not saying I'm going to do it every Sunday, because sometimes I might save up a couple of weeks and do a couple of weeks in one go, so that we can do some sewing on Sundays as well. But it will be general chit chat waffle. But yeah, I really want to do that because I have all of the stuff. Jane says, I don't watch the long sew-alongs unless I'm going to sew a particular garment. Yeah, and I totally get that. I totally get that. You know, if you've got no interest in sewing that particular garment, 100% understand why you wouldn't want to watch the full sew-along. So I used to do the sew-alongs in parts, and then I kind of made it into one long video, and I put the review in at the beginning, but I'm thinking I might separate that out, and so have like the review and the lookbook and the things that I like and don't like video completely separate to the sew along, and have the sew along literally start from pattern to finishing technique, rather than put the review in with it as well, so people can watch, because again, retention. And if you want to watch the review of the video, or of the thing that I'm making, you're only going to watch what the first 10 minutes of the video. It's an hour and a half long, and again, YouTube's just like, people are not staying on this video, so I won't recommend it to others. So I'm thinking I will separate those videos out back into 2 pieces, because it used to be, I used to do like 5-6 steps, so 5-6 10-minute videos of each process for the sew alongs. But I think it would be a good idea to separate the review out, so that people can watch the review and then decide if they've got any interest in making the thing or not, and if they have, then they can go to the sew along, I think. Christine says, I watch all your vlogs, especially the lookbooks, fabric fondling, all the and the tutorials, so I guess that's mostly everything you produce, lol. Which is amazing, Christine, thank you. Niminaria says, I'm getting back into it, however, and I've gone the digital route using Zinnia. I always look for inspiration though. Nice. Yeah, if I could have afforded to buy myself an iPad this year, it would have been an upgrade on the computer, because the iPad now supports Final Cut Pro, so I could have edited on the iPad, which was my only reason for not really buying one before, because it was just like, well, it's an accessory, it's not it's not a necessity. But now that they've got Final Cut Pro on it, it's going to be a less expensive way of upgrading my hardware so that I can continue to make things. But the other thing that I wanted to do was digital planning, because I've got some amazing ideas for digital planning. I probably would still have had my messy notebook, but I wouldn't have had the standalone notebook that I've made. I got my final stickers into my notebook, so very happy with that. Can I find, there it is. That was the one that was missing. And then there was some dandelion stickers missing as well. Yeah, so those 2 were missing. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how this book has come out, and I'm glad that I'm going to be using it. I think I am going to, during the early part of the year, treat myself to a citrus book bindery B5, so this size notebook, but it's going to be twice as thick as this, because it will have 288 pages. This has less than that. I can't remember exactly how many. This is an origami one. Does it say how many pages it has? No, but it's something like 120, so it's going to be a chunky notebook. But I'm going to treat myself to that early on in the year, and then spend time setting it up for next year, because I'm a weirdo and I like doing that. But my citrus book bindery messy notebooks arrived, and so I have my messy notebooks in my traveler's notebook book, and I have set them up for specific things. Now, I don't think that I'm going to fill these notebooks up in 1 year for these particular things. So what I'm going to do is, when the year finishes and I come here, page. When the year finishes, I will just make another title page for 2025 and stick those into the same notebooks that carry on, because my messy notebook that I did have in here spanned 2 years. This one, there's 2 years of messy notes in here, and there's quite a lot of stuff that I actually want to transfer over into the other ones, like video ideas and things like that. So yes. Let's see, where did I get to with the chat? Catherine says, potatoes! Does anyone have a favourite potato brand variety? I love Sainsbury's Vivaldi. I don't think I've tried those. I was going to say Maris Piper is my favourite. I don't eat potatoes very often anymore, though. I do miss them. But, you know, cauliflower mash, when done well, with a bit of cheese and cream in it, it's good. Lisa says, good morning, Sian and everyone here. Happy New Year. Sending love from deepest, darkest Devon. You too, Lisa. Happy New Year. Jin and Pin says, my attention span is about 15 minutes for videos, unless it's something I'm really interested in. I enjoyed your attempts at making blocks and slopers. Yeah, I want to revisit that as well. Got so many ideas. I think January as a catch-up to get everything cleared off of my table is going to be a really good thing, because that way I can start fresh and stop giving myself 11 million projects to do in 2 weeks, and yeah, try and be a little bit more reasonable with my plans. We'll see how that goes. Natalie says, pretty lining. What did I show you for the lining? I can't remember what I showed you for a lining. Lisa says, update on your custody battle. I'm in Crown Court in January and will be cross-examined about why I feel Ruby should come to me. I am scared to death, but please pray for me. You can totally do it. You can do it. Caroline says, Marcus just said several of the creators he follows have put out content about their fall in income this year. Yeah, it's channel wide or YouTube wide. It's not me particularly. Like YouTube and Google fluffed up and have annoyed their advertisers yet again. And it's not just that. There's others, like other external things that have been happening as well. So it's not the lack of quality content or the quality of content has gone down. It's just it's YouTube wide. It's not just me. And I've chosen to do this for a living. It currently, scarily, is one of the things that I think, one of the only things I think I can do for a living. I would need to get a very flexible employer otherwise, which we all know is not the usual thing that employers pride themselves on. So yeah, it's been a site-wide thing. Joker says, by the way, Manitoba smoke wrench equals oxyacetylene torch. Ah, okay. I'm not sure what help it is, but I'm always know I need new parts when I'm done with it. Sarah says, morning, I'm a little late. No worries, thank you for joining us. Jojo says, I mean, if you want to shake things up, adopt a chaotic swamp goblin creative style. It's brilliant fun. Let the raving squirrel take control. Squirrels take control. Words are hard. I mean, can it get more chaotic? I could get more chaotic. It could get more chaotic, couldn't it? Yes. Jojo says, all the best for January, Lisa. I have all things crossed for your family. Yes, pretzel. Everyone pretzel. Sarah says, I have found a lot of creative channels talk about suffering on YouTube because of retention. People just prefer to see the TikTok short of the finished process. Yeah. Peter says, morning. I watch all your content, but particularly like the chatty ones, as I have you in the background whilst sewing or knitting. Not great help, really. No, honestly, you guys are my core audience. This is very helpful, because the last thing I want to do is alienate you to try and grab a new audience. What I want to do is build the audience I have, and I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying the content, because you're the ones that have stuck with me. Like, the last thing I want to do is make anything that will put you guys off. So hearing your favorites is very, very helpful. Lisa says to Jojo, thank you, appreciate that very much. Sarah says, as a viewer, it makes me sad because many of my favorite creators stopped making their normal scheduled content because of the burnout videos not performing. At least 4 of my fave sewing YouTubers no longer make. I know, I've seen a massive drop off in channels that I loved that are just not making things anymore, and it is really sad. So yeah, I just need to try and come up with some more interesting ways of doing things. So Caroline says to Catherine, I prefer King Edward Spud. Maris Piper second. Bought a 25 kilogram sack of King Edwards last week. That's a lot of potatoes. Olivia says, good morning from Iowa. I am late. Hope everyone has a wonderful new year. You too, Olivia. And Jojo says, there is always room for more chaos shenanigans. Yes. Rachel's here. Hi, lovely. Happy New Year. I'm just coming out of sickness hibernation. Oh, you poor thing. Why does your body always do that to you? Get sick towards the end of the year? It's not fair. I've not had a cold for months, but that's because I don't go out and see people. Like Rachel, I think you got yours when you did your shift at the respiratory clinic, didn't you? Well, I think that's what you said in your Vlogmas. But yeah, I hope you feel better, my lovely. And Olivia says, I don't know what we're talking about. You're not thinking about quitting, Sean. Good grief, no, absolutely not. No, not remotely. No quitting here. I love this. And honestly, this is probably the only thing I can actually do. I don't think an actual normal employer would want me. And I honestly couldn't say that I would blame them for that because, yeah, I'm a terrible employee anyway. I'm a much better employer of myself. No, not quitting, just thinking about changing things up a little bit on the channel for next year. And seeing what works. But it really is not just me. As you guys have said, there's quite a few of the creative YouTubers who have mentioned that it has been a tough year. Lisa says, not sure what my fave potatoes are, but I got spuds for Christmas in Tesco's and they're gorgeous. Make great mash and roasties. Roasties. Rachel says, yes, it knocked me for 6. Had bronchitis, still congested, but feel a bit more human. Oh, you poor thing. Bronchitis sucks ass. Bronchitis is the worst. I'm aware that it's not actually the worst. Like there are other things, but I've had bronchitis since I was 8, pretty much yearly, and it sucks ass. It definitely does. Have you got anything exciting planned for this evening, Rachel? Anyone else? Has anyone else got anything exciting planned for this evening? Like I say, I plan on being asleep. Well, I mean, that's probably a fib because I probably won't be able to get to sleep till about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. But I plan on being horizontal in the dark with a cat purring. We've got to clean all of the floor. I had orange thread on here. I was like, what am I saying is orange? But it was my little plug pouch that I made for my set. Ooh. That was a bit more oil than I wanted. Let's try and tidy that up a little bit. Okay. Itchy nose. Jokingly says, every time I feel a cold coming on, I head for the Subway and tell them to throw some extra hot peppers on, for Subway, as in the sandwich shop, and tell them to throw some extra hot peppers on lol. It seems to kill the bug before it gets a foothold. Lol. Nice. Yeah, we've been mainlining echinacea because one of the ladies that came to our Christmas book club party was diagnosed with COVID and then couldn't spend Christmas with Mum, Dad and Susan. She had to stay at home, but thankfully nobody else came down with it. Or if we did, we've had such a mild case that we haven't noticed. Olivia says, good. You and Rachel are some of the ones that I go out of my way to watch. I love both of your vlogmases. Yes, Rachel's was the only other vlogmas that I had time to watch properly. I very much enjoyed it. Keep going to put things in my scraps bin and have realised that it's not there because it got so full of teeny tiny offcuts of wool that I finished that one, so I need to start a new one. Let's get this threaded first though. Exactly the same thing again. Okay, so machine is threaded. We are an hour and 11 minutes in. I said I was going to start sewing at 38 minutes. It's about right, isn't it? Let's catch up with the chat. Let's see. Natalie says, the sound of your machine called my cats to the living room. They seem disturbed. It does make a lot of noise, this thing, but it always has. Even when it was brand new, it likes to make its presence known. It's like, hello, I am here, I am on. Catherine says, quiet night in with the cats. Need to be here in case of idiots with fireworks. Oh, yeah. I'm so thankful that she is just not bothered by fireworks. She just doesn't give a crap. It's got nothing to do with my presence. I did ask her earlier in Vlogmas and she said no. So, yeah. MJ says, I'm hanging out with you lot. It's almost midnight here. Oh, exciting. But yay, thank you for hanging out with us. Rachel says, nope, party in my sewing room, I think. Nice. Sarah says, pizza and games with friends. I'm going to announce we're expecting. Congratulations. Oh, yay. That's lovely. Elena says, just cooking here with you on in the background. Nice. I think I've mentioned it, but this is what I had for Christmas dinner because I was going to have a steak, but we had ham on toast in the morning, which was delicious. But it made me so full. So I made myself a grazing platter. That's a grazing platter for just Shan, just one. And it was absolutely amazing. And I managed to finish nearly all of it, but not quite. So I had the rest the next day. But I've been to Marks and Spencer's and got fancy stuff. And so I'm going to do another one of those for me, Mum and Dad. And we're going to start at 4 o'clock and just see how long we go. So that's the plan. Joker Clee says, church has yet again rented the local bowling alley and skating ring for the town folk to use for free. So I'm guessing we'll head for that tonight. Oh, that's lovely. Lisa says, Shan, since we last spoke, I've homed 2 of my fosters. Remember, they all have extra toes. Nala went before Christmas and Neelix went yesterday. So I will spend tonight in bed with the last cat, Larry, watching YouTube. Oh, I couldn't foster kitties because I would end up keeping them all. If I ever win the lottery. Jokingly says it's only been an ongoing thing since about 1979. That sounds amazing. Sarah says, none of my me-made clothes fit, and I don't want to make any because they won't fit in a few weeks. Really killed the Sojo. Yeah. There's a few there's a few that you could make that you could still wear, but then obviously it depends. So like the Pleiades dresses, the McCalls dress that I made a couple of, I did so long for, like the trapeze style dresses that you can belt when you're back to your regular shape, sans baby, but that you could wear. But then I don't know how much they would take you through, like bump wise, how big the bump would get before you'd be like, no, can't get into those either. But yeah, I can imagine that, knowing that you're changing shape and constantly changing shape, and then we'll change shape again. I can imagine not wanting to sew for that. Michelle says, we are getting some finger foods to eat and watch a movie, might even be asleep by midnight, leaving those plans up in the air, partying like it's 1999. Nice. Luminaria says, congrats to Sarah. Olivia says, my plans for the New Year's Eve are to go through my new vintage sewing machine I picked up for $25 at the Goodwill in St. Charles, Missouri. It's a Wight, not sewing machine company, not the colour. Oh, cool. That sounds like a good plan. Gin and Pin says, Newcastle Quayside has a laser light show tonight. Stopped doing the extremely loud fireworks, thankfully. Bed soon after. Nice. Rachel says, there were so many Vlogmases this year, it's impossible to watch them all. I appreciate anyone who gave up their time to watch me. Absolutely. Yeah, there was so many people that I was really interested and wanted to, but it's like a proper full-time job trying to keep up with all of them. So I had to pick my favourite, and yeah. Because all I did with mine was complain about editing. I think I'm going to do Vlogmas a bit different next year. I think I am going to still have mum and dad. It'll still have calendars, but I think I'm going to start just do us opening calendars in the morning. If I go on to do anything Christmassy, then I'll include that as well. If mum and I go out for lunch or anything, I'll include that as well. But I think rather than try and make my day interesting, because it was just a lot of me saying I'm editing, I think that's what I'm going to do next year, is just do calendars. And that way it's a shorter video as well, because one of the things that YouTube tries to get people to do as well is like anything over 8 minutes you can put mid-roll adverts into, because anything under 8 minutes, any mid-roll adverts, people will get annoyed and just click off. So they do try and encourage people to do slightly longer videos so that they can put mid-rolls in it. But yeah, maybe we'll see. But I think that's what I'm going to do for Vlogmas next year, is just calendars. Yeah. Carol says, going to meet a friend and walk the 3 blocks to watch the fireworks if I don't have to listen to them anyway. If I don't, we have to listen to. If I don't, we have to listen to them anyway. Words are hard. That sounds like a plan. Our next town over is doing fireworks down by the seafront, but I don't wanna. I'm so looking forward to our evening. We've got some champagne. Like I say, I went a little nuts at Marks and Spencer's on the food, so we've got some really lovely food. I'm going to do a baked camembert as well, and we're going to play games, and it's going to be awesome. Luminaria says, speaking of bed, I've been up all night. I'm heading off to Dreamland. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Hugs to all. Thank you for coming in and saying hi, Luminaria. It's lovely to see you. And Lisa says, sleep well and Happy New Year. Olivia says, I've never liked going out for New Year's Eve, and pandemic just affirmed my belief in staying at home. And congratulations to Sarah. Yeah, I've been out for a couple of New Year's Eves and it's been okay. But some of the best ones I've ever had have been on Big Bird and Baby Bother's sofa in a bear onesie, watching Jules Holland's Hootenanny, drinking champagne and playing games. And that's fully what I intend to do this evening, as I say. Not the Hootenanny. We're gonna play games. Joker Clee says, speaking of tonight's festivities, I need to go grab some shut-eye before I need to be up and possessed of some form of functionality and good humour again. Apparently Grouchy Me isn't invited. Oh, nice. Oh dear. Peter says, I love a grazing platter. We call it a smorgasbord. Yes. Yes, I'm so excited. So yeah. Catherine says, went to M&S yesterday to have a look at the sale, bought non-sale bra and undies, and had the lovely I love your coat occurrence while wearing my princess coat. Oh, awesome. It is a gorgeous coat. Yumri says, hello, I'm back and you're still here. Yay. Yay. Did you enjoy your lunch? Joker Clee says, congrats on the impending minion, Sarah. Sleep now, you won't get much in a couple of months, lol. Yes. Gin and Pin says, Sarah, same thing happened to me. I've been trying to make looser fitting clothes that fit me fat or thin, and I've been up 15k and back. Can recommend the Roscoe dress and blouse pattern. Ooh, nice. Caroline says, we are popping over to Sun's for a little while, then home with himself with a bottle of Bailey's, crocheting soap scrubbies. Nice. Lisa says to Gin and Pins, I have just looked up the Roscoe pattern and your recommendation. Can I ask, firstly, what kind of fabric you use? And secondly, is it easy for a beginner to make? Michelle says, FYI, Sian, your vloggers is my only one. Oh, and I love watching your family and the calendars. Of course, now I want to try the Black Forest Gâteau hot chocolate. Michelle, you're going to have to let me send you a box of it, aren't you? Because Hotel Chocolat won't, will they? I might become your dealer. Either that or you did mention you might want to come to the retreats next May. So I will get you, I'll have a box waiting for you if you do come. Bribery and corruption. I do appreciate Bermuda is a very long way to go. Right, okay, so I need to organise myself a little bit because otherwise we're going to get in a mess here. But I actually might do some sewing now. Maybe only a couple of lines of sewing, but I might do some sewing. Oh, I'm going to go and get myself a scrap bag as well because otherwise I'm just going to keep throwing things in the direction of the floor and it's going to end up messy. We don't want that. There we go. Scrap bag. Now, I have a pile of pattern pieces next to me. So let's organise those. That is all my interfacing pieces. Backstay. Here's my 2 sleeve pieces. Pattern envelope. Okay, so centre back, that's side front, this is middle front, this is middle back, and that's side back. Organisation. Let's get out these silk pins. And I'm thinking of using this as my flat piping. Let me go and grab my scraps of fabric and show you what the lining and the outer looks like, so you can let me know what you think of my choice of scrap. Because I love a bit of flat piping, and I'm a bit stumped as to what colour to use for this, but I call them my chocolate cherry pajamas because I've used this. So this is my lining. Chocolate biscuits. And then this is my outer. And I'm thinking, yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? Because this is definitely a red, but I like that combination together. And it's flat piping on the inside, so you know it's only a tiny little flash of colour, but I think that's what I'm going to use. Oh, I don't think I've got any ivory in stock. I'd need to order some, but yeah, I like the thought there, Catherine. Ivory. I have. Okay, I don't have ivory. I've only got white, but let's use that for kind of like, it will be less, obviously less stark than this. I think I like the chocolate cherry. Oh, no, I need to order some. Thank you. Catherine's just saying she could send me some of hers. I need to order some ivory, some. I've written a list. I've got a list of the ones that I need to order. No, that's not quite working either, is it? I do quite like the burgundy. Because the thing with the brown, it would look lovely, but I think it's just going to get lost. I think that would just blend in too much because of that. I think the burgundy. I think. Let's see. Let's see. Nimue says, "Oh, retreat! I have to book that. Holidays are terrible for my to-do memory." Yes. Debbie says the Roscoe dress is lovely. I've made 2 now. Ooh, nice. Lisa says to Debbie, "Was it easy to make? What fabric did you use?" Sarah said, "I've made a few skirts and dresses that will fit for the remainder of my first try and then halfway through my second. But beyond that, I'm not going to cut into any precious fabric until post-baby." Yeah. Michelle says, "Okay, I'm tired. So I'm slow to mentioning it, but that dress is stunning. I love it. Thank you." Sarah says, "I have fabric for a quilt, but I have had plans for years. I guess now's the time to do it." Definitely. Catherine says, "Try Frumble for piping." I kind of think I want to do the burgundy. I think I like the burgundy. Because you've got to bear in mind as well, this is not quite showing up on camera exactly the right shade. I think I like this because it's going to be like a thin line of it as well. Maybe ivory. Maybe it needs to be that cream color. Oh, now I'm. Ooh. Now I'm doubting everything. Is that too Christmas? Does that look better than the? Where did I get to? Nimue says to Sarah, "So over it, have a maternity top that's nursing friendly, and if I remember correctly, can be altered for long-term wear. I wanted to make one for my friend, but we never got to choosing a fabric." Gillian Pin says to Sarah, "Very beginner friendly. First step is probably the hardest. I've made it in everything from a light viscose to baby cord, and I want one in a denim and one in a lace." So I thought the pattern expensive, but I got my money's worth out of it. I think that was for Lisa as well. Nimue says, "I like the burgundy piping. It looks like a nice gradient transition." Debbie says to Lisa, "Yes, it's very easy to make. I have used some soft viscose fabrics." Catherine says, "I'm not sure I like the Black Forest Gatto hot chocolate. Any takers for the rest of it?" I'll take the rest of it quite happily. I'm so sorry you don't like it. I don't know. Is that too Christmas? I'm going to need to order more of that because I don't think I have enough of it. But is that too Christmas? I don't know now. I do need to, as I say, order myself a couple of rolls of colour. So I will 100% get my ivory, and the bright red is one of them. I didn't want to use bright red because it won't show up. Right. Hour and a half in, actual sewing. Lisa says to Debbie, "Thank you. Looking at the pattern, I think it's very me. I love the viscose fabric, so soft with gorgeous drape. Think I might buy it and start with the blouse. Thank you." Awesome. Caroline says, "I like that green one." Catherine says, "You're on. Thank you." Sarah says, "I prefer the red over the green." I had in my head that it was going to be burgundy, like 100% burgundy the whole way. And now I'm doubting myself. We shall see. Right, so I have got that marked in. Now, where is my pincushion? I am so organised. Are you hiding my pincushion? You are. How very dare you? I was hiding behind you. Here we go. So, I've ended up with a very strange looking piece for this piece because I have drafted a back neck facing for this pattern. I'm also debating whether I do the detachable faux fur collar that she's got on the one on her, because I quite like that, and I was thinking I might do that, but we shall see. Kristen says to Sarah, Peekaboo Patterns has a bunch of nursing friendly patterns. Most of their patterns come with the option included if that's something you're looking for. I've made some of their baby patterns. You guys have good knowledge. I love it. Sarah says, so the red and green gives Dolce & Gabbana energy. We all know I like that. It's such a shame that they're such, like, not a nice company. But we do love a bit of Dolce & Gabbana here, you know that. I will find something. Ginny Pin says, Roscoe conversation. I've made 7, mostly the blouse. The maxi is long on me. I use the wider ruffle in the shorter dress to add length. Interesting. I really like the look of the Roscoe blouse. I don't know if because we all know how I feel about tops, so I probably would make the dress version. Oh, let's see. Lisa says, how oversized is it? Well, I mean, that's completely dependent on you, because you can pick what size would work best for you. But guys, is it meant to be an oversized blouse? Because again, I've not made it, so I don't know for definite. Lisa says, I'm a size 18 in shop bought tops. My chest is 44 inches. Lots of concentration and pinning. How many seams do we reckon I'll get sewn in the next half hour? Because we've been waffling at you guys for an hour and a half now. So that means it is 1 o'clock. Oh, our neighbour had their baby. In all honesty, I hadn't realised that she was pregnant, to be fair, but they've had their baby. Tom texted Dad the other day to let them know. Cute. Cute, cute. Okay. We are 1 hour and 33 minutes in and sewing has occurred. Who'd have thunk it? I'm really excited about this coat. Lisa says, will the correct size for my chest make me look enormous? I'm only a size 14 at the bottom. Ginny Pin says, it basically fits around the neck and then balloons. Lisa says, should I size down? I note it has raglan sleeves, so there shouldn't be an issue with fitting around my upper arms. I just think size and fit is such a personal thing. It's like how you like your clothes to fit. because I've noticed, I think I told you guys, I ended up reading some of the comments about me on Reddit in some of the sewing forums, and the majority of comments were very, very, very nice. There wasn't a nasty comment in a lot, which was lovely. But the majority of comments were that I do like my clothes super fitted, which is very true. I do. But you know, that had come up a lot of the times in the section where people had been talking about why there was so much ease in the Big Four patterns. So yeah, it's going to be, it would be a case of have a look at the finished garment measurements, work out what you're happy with, and then make something that is a wearable muslin first. So don't cut into super precious fabric to begin with. MJB says, okay, now that it's next year, I shall wish you all a good night and try and get some overexcited boys into bed. Oh, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us. I shall see you in 2024. Good luck with the getting them to sleep. Okay, so now just to sew in a little fitting tweet. Okay, one seam done, 100 million T11 to go. That's a proper word, right? Okay, so that side that needs to get fitted in. I would totally blow off this afternoon and carry on sewing because we all know how into it I can get, but I'm too excited about the food to do that. Far too excited about the food. Let's see. Lisa says Happy New Year to MJB. Marie says, what are you sewing? I am sewing the red McCalls 6800, but I'm doing the lining first because we all know that if you do the lining first, the actual finished garment comes together so much quicker, because that is actually how physics and the times work. It's the same with bag making. I am aware that I am insane. I do know this. Just in case anyone thinks I'm not like conscious of how nuts I sound. I am aware. So a lot of you guys have asked for a sew along for the 1669 coat. Do I need to get the pattern out so I can show you the picture? And as I say, that's the one that Mum wants to make next. So I'm going to be doing a video about making it and the finished product, but would you guys like a sew along for it as well? Mine is going to be bottle green cashmere wool coating that I got from Lady McElroy, and birdies on the lining, which I'm very excited about. I am probably going to not do the pocket flaps on the pattern. So me waffling about it like this is probably meaning that you guys need to see the pattern, doesn't it? Let's see. Natalie says 2 out of 4 cats are now intently watching you sew. Hello, kitties. And Sarah says it's only 9 a.m. here. Crazy to think somebody is already celebrating. It's 2024. I know, right? Gin Pin says, I made my first toile to see. I went by my bust size and was happy with it, but the fit is such a personal thing. I'm off to the shops now. See you next year. Thank you for joining us, Gin and Pins, and I will see you in 2024. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Lisa says, thank you to Gin and Pins. Catherine says, McCalls 6800. I'm still waiting for the wool, but have got the Minerva to say that they'll refund my express postage. I think that is the least that they can do. For sure. Nimoy says, start with the lining and then fiddly parts so your garments come together quicker. So is math. Absolutely. We've had girl math, we've had boy math, we've had cat math, now we've got sewists math. Santa, in my stocking, I got about 5 or 6 pairs of shoulder pads, which I had asked for, which was very good. So, in different thicknesses and things as well. So for some of the little light jackets I want to make, they're going to have slightly the smaller ones, but then for the bigger ones, they're going to have, like this one, they're going to have the bigger shoulder pads in it. I do need to get some ice wool as well because I've only got enough to want to do 1 sleeve head. So I do need to place a Minerva order, which I'm going to do tomorrow. Catherine says, adding the lining and turning it through is the magic moment of coat for a coat jacket. Definitely. It's always, that turning things through when you've sewn them is always my favorite part. Let's see. Lisa says to Natalie, I hope the cats are taking written notes and tell them there will be questions at the end. Lol. Michelle says, okay, got to run. Have a wonderful new year. We'll see you next week. Yes, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us, Michelle. Catherine says, try William G for haberdashery, cheaper than Minerva, and they have sleeve heads. Oh, cool. I was going to order from Minerva because I want to order that yellow stuff as well. And I need some more calico, and because I used the last of the calico cutting out the lining for the velvet coat. So I was going to try and combine everything to save on postage. But I will check that out. Thank you. I will check that out. Lisa says, Sean, do you remember the 80s power dressing jackets? Look like American football players. Yes. Yes, I do. And no, not that dramatic a shoulder pad. Olivia says, does anyone here make New Year's resolutions? I, as a general rule, do not, but I do think about what I want to do different in the new year. I have done, and then I've been annoyed with myself when I've not stuck to them. So this year I'm not doing any New Year's resolutions or goals, because I did that for last year and literally the opposite happened. So I am going to try different things this year, but I'm not making it a set in stone goal or resolution, because I think I've seen a few people posting things, say it's a meme saying you're going to see a load of posts about everything that people have achieved this year and everything that they've done and all the rest of it, but it's okay if you got through, if your only achievement is getting through the year. And I think that is my motto or mantra for today, is I got through this year and I'm still here. Papa has come to visit. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. There are Peeps.
Oh, right. Hello, Peeps. I've got this camera working.
Oh, awesome. Did you find the destruction booklet?
No, but it's online. I haven't found the booklet. I'm trying to... I can see it in my mind's eye. I know it's...
You've put it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to come and just say hi?
No, my hair's all over the place.
He's got floofy hair. No floofy hair for you.
Blowing a gale out there.
It was peeing. I managed to come down at exactly the right time because it peed down with rain after I'd left the house.
So, a bit messy. If you're moving this, can you always put it in this to move it? I just don't want to drop it on the concrete.
Absolutely.
Everyone's
saying hello to the whiff.
Hello.
Nimue is even saying hello, Danny. Dad's even found me the remote for the camera as well.
There is a base to go on there.
There is, but it also is universal. It's not in that one at the moment. It's actually on the bottom of my camera.
Yeah.
So
that's what I meant.
Yeah, it unscrews there and then it will screw into that one.
Okay.
Do you like my fabric combination for my coat?
Yeah.
Everyone needs a chocolate biscuit lining.
You've got chocolate biscuit lining on something else.
You've got a chocolate biscuit lining on your...
I have.
Yeah.
My gilet.
Your gilet. Brushed cotton on the outside, thermal interlining, and cotton silk on the lining for his gardening gilet. But a fancy.
And big pockets.
Big pockets.
Which is most important.
Yes. So that's I was going to say that doesn't need to be quite so firmly screwed in for my teeny tiny camera, but for your one, it will. Yeah.
Hang on. That screws as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that completely comes out as well if you unscrew it far enough.
Yeah.
He's pointing it at me, and in the initial reaction is smile. You've got a couple of lenses, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's the one on there do?
It's wide angle lens.
Is it on? Oh, it flashed.
It's now recording.
Oh.
Okay, so you can see what that does.
Okay.
And the sound.
Can you turn the recording off and I'll see if I can just take a photo?
You can just take a photo.
I don't know. Is it? It's...
No, it will just take a photo but you have to.
Yes, that's pictures. But if you've got it recording, it won't do anything else but record.
No,
so
not remotely. No.
No. Have you pressed record on it?
No.
Oh.
I switched it on to record. It is recording right now.
Okay, so turn the recording off.
No, you turn it off.
I can't. It'll only do photos remotely.
No, it's doing It is recording now.
A video?
Yes.
Yes. So can you turn it off?
You do it without.
It's not gone off. I think recording.
Yes, it has.
Has it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so
it's still switched on, but the
okay.
video is off.
That's clever. So because it was flashing,
Yeah.
but what I need is actually photography with the remote. If you start seeing photos with me trying to conceal a teeny tiny remote in my hand, you know what's going on. I'm using Dad's fancy camera.
Now try.
Oh, that's a long time.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure I can adjust that as
You
well.
can adjust
I can
it
adjust
down
it to
to 4.
do bursts as well.
Yes, but don't ask me to do that.
No,
right now.
I remember doing that with this before, doing
Yeah.
it in bursts.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Where's the little baggie for this?
So it's on
It's quite so little
at the moment. Okay.
Okay, can you turn it off? Thank you.
It's okay.
Amazing. Now I just need to work out how to do the very basics with it. It's going to be, but hopefully the photos and
It's
the
on,
stills will get better now.
It's on a 10-second delay
Yeah.
because it's on autofocus.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't need 10 seconds. I mean,
Yeah.
get it down.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll have a play around with it.
Anyway.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Much
Pleasure.
appreciated. Oh, where's its charger? Because we've only got one battery for this one, haven't we? Because it's like
It's in the
55
office.
quid a battery.
It's in the office and it's fully charged.
Awesome.
So for still photography, that will last hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
video.
Yeah.
But I can plug that into my laptop and use the laptop as a monitor, because this one doesn't have a flip up screen. That's the downside of this one.
That's right.
But there is a cable that you can plug that into that, so you can see what you're doing.
Okay.
I mean, it then takes power from this rather than the battery. So if I do need to film on that one, then I can do that.
Okay.
I don't know if I've got that cable, because it was Chad had that cable for his.
Now,
that was
I've got a cable that connects this to the computer.
Okay.
That will be the one, won't it?
Yes, but I might need to, because I've only got one type of port on this.
Oh. Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Haven't you got an adapter port?
To a USB.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah.
You're awesome. Yes, then I have.
Yeah.
We've got all this. We've got all the gear and a slight idea.
I will show you where it is when you come up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is Mum back?
Yes.
I'm planning on. We're going to eat at 4.
Okay.
And do you want to play cards? Do you want to play board games, or do you want to do your detective society?
Oh, I'm going cards first.
Okay. I thought that might be the preference.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying good morning and hello to you, by the way, as well.
Thank you very much.
Yes. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Okay. Oh, thank you. He's taking my cup with him.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
I cleaned your shoes as well.
Thank you. You did lock me out of the house the other night, though.
No, you locked yourself.
Oh, I did not. You did. Child abuse. Where did I get to with the chat? Where did I get to with the chat? Natalie says, Lisa, I could tell them, but they will never listen to the cats. This is true, but there will be a quiz at the end with Natalie's cats, just so you know. Lisa's lolling, and she says, that's cats for you, rolls eyes. Rachel says, William G are very good. I bought my wriggling boning from them. Awesome. I will have a look and see the difference in price. Like I said, the only reason I was ordering from Minerva is because I wanted to order the bulk of this as well for my this project. Olivia says, Rachel, I think you should do a beer year for Martin. Marie says, well, skirt dress now cut out from now for a Jenna cardigan using some leftover jersey from my stash. That's going to be a nice combo. Catherine says, William G also deal with professional tailoring trade as well as regular sewists. Ooh, I might have a look at them for some interfacing though, although I do like the English Couture Company for the interfacing as well. Nimue says, wow, giant heron just took a low swoop over the neighbour's garden. We're in the middle of a city. Ooh. You've got to announce the arrival and sightings of giant birds. So, yes. Olivia says, Sean, I agree. I got through the year. Yay. Yeah. Nimue says hi to Dad. Lisa says, my only achievement is getting through this terrible year and not throwing myself under a train. Yay, go me. Olivia says hi to the Fwiff. Nimue says Einstein had floofy hair, so clearly in good company. Yes. Lisa says, I have floofy hair too. Nothing wrong with that, Dad. Rachel then says, good morning all. I slept in and I was sure I'd missed it. No, I'm waffling a lot. And Ari says hello to Mr. Singleton. Lisa says hi to Rachel Lynn. Happy New Year. Beverly says, early to bed for me tonight. Tomorrow is my birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Beverly, and Happy New Year as well. I am sure you get fed up of hearing that, but happy birthday. And Ari says, your father woke me up. Olivia says, happy birthday, Beverly. Rotten Ralph says, I thought you were done since I just started, and it was a bit. And I thought you were done since I just started, and it was at the beginning. Ah, no, I'm still waffling. I'm determined to get the back of this lining sewn. We've got time. We have got plenty of time though. Lisa says happy birthday for tomorrow to Beverly. Natalie says happy birthday to Beverly. Rotten Ralph says good morning, Peeps. Olivia says good morning. Rotten Ralph says happy birthday to Beverly. Lisa says hi Ralph, happy New Year. Hope you've had a lovely Christmas. Darcy says we're doing Christmas today with himself's parents since they were on a cruise. Ooh, nice. Catherine says William G is where I got the iron on in Taylor's canvas. Nice. Neri says happy birthday Beverly with a fellow Capricorn just like myself. Catherine says reminder to all the UK peeps, do your meter reads before the price goes up tomorrow. Ooh. Lisa says cruise, all right for some, lol, cruise even. Nero says we used to get some more herons stopping by when the neighbour still had a pond with fish. Pond has been gone for a few years. Fish didn't last that long. Oh, maybe though it's a heron who's just like, Mummy told me about this place. Where is the takeout? Rachel Lynn says what you're working on. The McCalls 6800. And Darcy says, Lisa, my constant nausea doesn't bode well for a cruise. Oh, yeah. And Lisa says to Darcy, feel your pain. I struggle in the bath. Thankfully, I don't get nausea from that because I do love a bath. But yeah, I have been on a cruise and I did enjoy it. And we did go through the tail end of a hurricane. And the photos of that night, you can see I'm green. I actually look green. Because it was very rough. Not my favourite. But the actual cruising I enjoyed. I'm going to finish this seam. I'll pin the other one, but I will show you the Vogue coat that I'm talking about that Mum and I are going to do next. I'm not sure when. It's probably going to be in January. Because Mum has agreed to take a week's holiday so we can concentrate on the coat, and she wants a coat now. She doesn't overly like the one that we did last year, that other Vogue one. Dad and I really like it on her, but she has also lost quite a lot of weight, the same as I did. So my sister-in-law has mine, and Mum does wear hers, but it is a little too big for her. And I just the thought of altering it doesn't appeal because she doesn't love it. If she loved it, then we could totally look at altering it, but she's not in love with the shape on her, so we're going to try the Vogue one instead, which only takes 4 meters, so theoretically should it still has a full skirt, but it's not the huge sort of circle-ish skirt that the original Vogue one had. Okay, so got that done. Let me grab the pattern that I'm waffling about. It's this one. This vintage Vogue. So we're going to do that, but I think we're going to leave off the flaps on the pockets because everybody that I've seen them on, they look kind of clunky. Even the kind of sample that Vogue have sewn up. But I do love those kinds of pockets, and they're on the same sort of pockets that we had on the Vogue coat that we did earlier this year. So definitely going to put the pockets in, just not put the flap on, I think. I think that's the plan. But a few of you guys have asked for a sew along for that one. So, yeah. Sarah says, my McCalls 6800 is my fave winter coat, and it's no longer fitting even over my small bump. Yes, it's very fitted at the waist, isn't it? Well, hopefully, I should have 2 of these. I mean, because currently I only have 1, but I don't wear it because it's too short. So I have traced out and cut out the calico pieces so that I can then work out how much velvet I need to buy, which I'm going to get 4 meters of velvet. I was only going to get 3, but I'm going to get 4 because I have another project that I'm working on that will go with that coat. And I like the idea of having some matching pieces to go with it. Plus, it's a really beautiful velvet that I've picked, so I think it's going to look really rather lovely. And I did put it up for a vote on Patreon, and I'm sorry, Patreon peeps, I'm going with a different colour than the ones you guys voted for. I am sorry about that, but I'm going to do it. Olivia says, nice coat pattern. Lisa says, I wish I could sew like you guys. You will eventually. It's just, I mean, I've been sewing properly for 10 years now. I think it's going to be 10 years. It's just, you know, starting and giving things a try and being willing to fail and being willing for things to not be brilliant, and then working out how that didn't work out or what did work for you, and then building on those, you know, those skills. Let's see. Lisa says, I'm completely in awe of your sewing abilities, Shan. Oh, thank you. But it literally all is self-taught and just trial and error and perseverance. And Ari says, my birthday is the following couple of days later. It's on the first Wednesday of the brand new year. Been that way since 1966. I'm becoming an ever riper old lady. Growing old gracefully or disgracefully, as your preference dictates. Professor Pudge says, good morning. I slept in a little bit, so a bit late. What are you making today? I am making the lining for my McCalls 6800 coat. Linda says, I think I must have missed what your mum is now doing. Love that dress. What work your mum? So mum signed up to become an Anna chaplain, I think at the beginning of this year. And she's actually prescribable by the GP. And so she's got, I think, 4 people that she goes and visits on a Tuesday and a Thursday to sit with them and chat and see how they're doing. And sort of like one of them, she took them to a opera party that she wanted to go to because she's an opera singer. So yeah, mum does that. It's church-based, community-based as well, and she really enjoys it. And then she plays bridge twice a week, and she also goes to Tai Chi, and she is the secretary for the church group as well, the board, and WI. So she does a lot of things. As well as sewing. A lot of things. Nimue says to Lisa, sewing is mostly about practice and getting more comfortable and being brave. But just give it time and you'll be amazed at what you can do, each in their own time. Exactly. Natalie says, happy birthday to Inari. Indeed. I don't think I said that, did I? Happy birthday. Darcy says, we have wetlands nearby, so we have giant birds all year. Himself and I are constantly announcing that sandhills and the herons. We also have ibis, egrets, and so Jurassic birds everywhere. Very cool. Jurassic pigeon has not bothered me today so far, but it's one of those ones, speak it name and it shall appear. I will let you know. Inari says thank you to Natalie. Lisa says to Nimue, I have been sewing for years, but not garment making. I tend to do bags, homeware and toys, traditional teddy bears and rag dolls, etc. So you've already got the basics. So it's just going to be kind of like applying it over to a new type of sewing. So yeah, it will be one of those cases where it's just like, keep trying. I know it can get very disheartening when things don't quite go according to plan. If you've watched me this year, you'll have realized that that happens to everybody. But learn from the things that do go wrong. Try different things, because there's loads of different ways to achieve the same result. I've always said this, like, however, as long as you like the end result, however you get there is the correct way. Because there are so many people out there who are like, no, this is the only way you sew a dart. And there are a million different ways to sew a dart and achieve a beautiful result. Whichever way works for you is the correct way. It's like, I really like my way of sewing invisible zippers, and I keep getting told that I ought to do it this other way. And the other way is amazing and brilliant, and loads of people use it, but it's not how I want to do my invisible zips. And I really like how mine come out. So, you know, that's exactly what I mean. Like, I've got the end result that I love, and I've done it the way that I enjoy, so it's the right way. Darcy says happy birthday to Inari. Catherine says a lot of it is also not being scared off by things that might be rated as difficult. Yes, this is personal experience. Absolutely. And if you break, I think one of my things as well is if you break a task down into smaller chunks and then achieve each of those chunks in you know, as an in of itself, as a goal of itself, rather than I have to do the whole thing, then yeah. Lisa says, I've not done any sewing in well over a couple of years now. Bought some cheap fabric to make a pair of PJs from Tilly and the Buttons, but have not done it yet. That's a really good starting project. And Tilly and the Buttons patterns are great for beginners. So that's a really good way to start. And Lisa says, have a lovely birthday to Inari. And Inari says, thank you to Lisa. Olivia says, your mum is a busy lady. She is indeed. Chan Dash says, did her friend like the picnic set? She did very much, yes. She actually gave her the quilt as her birthday present because her birthday is the 7th of December, and then gave her the rest of the pieces for Christmas. So I will have to see if Mum can get them to set it all out together to take a photo of the set together so that I can share it with you guys, because it looked beautiful. Although Mum really did not enjoy the instructions. She's clearly a very visual person, and there was just written instructions, which once you'd, I mean, for me as well, it was a lot of like, what do they mean? And then looking at the pieces that we'd cut out and then being like, oh, that's how it goes together. A lot of it wasn't the clearest, but it's come out as a very beautiful set. Catherine says, your mum sounds like an absolute pillar of the community, the sort where things would fall over if she wasn't there, unplanned. Yes. Yes. Linda says, yes, sorry, hun, meant to say work-wise. It's been great to see her so busy. Yes, she's loving it. She's absolutely loving it. I think retirement for mum is indulging in all the things that she wants to do. Like, she loved her job, 100% loved her job. But she wouldn't be happy just sewing all the time or kind of just knitting all the time, because that would not fulfill her. She loves the stuff that she does now. She's a very big part of her church group as well, and she very much enjoys that as well. And I mean, I'm agnostic. I was raised Church of England. Dad was raised Catholic. Mum is Church of England as well. I am completely agnostic. I'm not an atheist. I definitely, there's something going on, but I don't believe in one particular religion over anything else. So hence the agnostic thing. But mum is very, very much finding, when she got cancer, it was something that going to church when she could walk during the chemo sessions and sitting in the church was something that she felt very reassured and a sense of peace, I think. So yeah, she for a long time she didn't go to church as religiously as she does now, but yeah. Darcy says, Lisa, if you can sew a teddy bear and housewares, you're probably more comfortable with the little fiddly bits. You're underestimating the crossover. Absolutely. And Nimue says to Lisa, so you've got a head start, but each category of sewing has its own skill set. Fitting garments is definitely a learning curve, so just take it one step at a time. Yeah, and you're definitely starting with good projects, because PJ bottoms and a loose-fitting blouse are a great way to start. Natalie says, plus a full-time job of knitting Sian cardigans and jumpers. I know. She was knitting her Anne Boleyn cardigan for herself, which was her birthday present. And she is now and she had to pause that because she couldn't finish it in time. And she started knitting Nia's jumper, which is Catherine of Aragon, I think. And she's only a little way through that. And then the wool that Nimue facilitated for her Christmas present is for a petal cardigan. I don't know when I'm going to get a cardigan next. I keep saying to her, you need to slip one of mine in between, because mine are nice and simple and easy. And she's like, actually, that might not be a bad idea. Lisa says, thanks to Ralph and Nimue. Debbie says, there was a wonderful moment in The Crown where the Queen says, you underestimate the WI at your peril. I haven't watched the last season of The Crown yet. I've still got that to go through. Lisa says, I'm rubbish at choosing fabrics. I'm a bit scared of wearing patterned fabric. I live in jeans and t-shirt or jumper, but would love to have some more me-made garments, easy things. Start off with things that you're comfortable with. Like, start with solids. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love print, if you couldn't tell. But a lot of my sewing this year is going to be solids because they're going to be so versatile. Churn Dash says, we were at a wildlife reserve in North Carolina. I pointed and said, look, an osprey. And the woman corrected me, telling me it was a bald eagle. I said a bird was an eagle, but the plane was an osprey. Love it. Olivia says, and Olivia's laughing at Churn Dash as well. Lisa says, I think the Roscoe dress would be lovely with a pair of over-the-knee boots, but could I wear that being 56 years old? I don't feel old or look my age. You can wear whatever you want at whatever age you want. Like, as long as you feel comfortable, then screw everybody else and what they think. So Kate says, Happy New Year's from Melbourne, Australia. Happy New Year. Beverly says, I would love to see how you finish your invisible zips. I can't get them to lie flat without a hoop. And okay. A couple of my earlier sew-alongs have that in, but I can definitely. I'm so reluctant to make a video about putting an invisible zip in, because I know that the comment section is going to be, this method is better, with links to this other video. Which is totally fine. Like, as I say, like, everybody is allowed their own method of doing something. But I could definitely have a look at maybe doing that. yeah, because I don't like putting hooks and eyes at the top of my garments, so I just have zips. So yeah, I can definitely have a look at doing how I finish the top of the zip off. I think as well, Lisa, one of the reasons I sew with a lot of patterned fabric is it hides a lot of seams as well. With a plain fabric, any error kind of stands out a little bit more, but with patterned fabrics, they do tend to blend in. That's not to say don't sew with plain fabrics, because, you know, if that's the thing that you enjoy wearing, then make them 100%. But that's another thing that I like about patterned fabrics, is that you cannot see errors in them quite so obviously as in plains. Ask me how I know. I love this coat, but oh my goodness, there's a lot of panels in it. There's 6 panels in the front and 6 panels in the back. It's a lot of panels. Totally worth it though. Totally worth it. Sarah says, I always backstitch my darts even though I know you shouldn't, and I skip some fiddly bits because it dampens my enjoyment of the process, but I'm starting to take the time to do it because I like the finish. I think that is exactly the point. If you end up with something that you like the look of, however you got there is the right way for you. And there will come a time where you'll just be like, ooh, I fancy trying this, or ooh, I want to do that. Like backstitching at the point of your dart, you're not meant to do that because it's meant to add bulk in that area. And that's the last thing you want, is bulk in the point of a dart. But if you like the result, if you like how it looks, there is nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, do what makes you happy, because if it's not your full-time job, if it's your hobby is meant to bring you joy. Your hobby is supposed to be something that makes you happy, that is something that you want to do, that you look forward to doing. And if you're getting put off because there is a list of rules that you have to follow, then, you know, that's kind of taking the joy out of it. Now, I put out a video about the 3 rules that you should never break when you're sewing. And they're true for me. And I think the anchor's done the same thing. It's like rules that you shouldn't break while sewing. And, you know, everybody's rules are going to be different. And the comment section on that video was really interesting, because there were lots of people either agreeing with me and adding their rules, or saying, oh, no, I don't do that, I do this instead. And it was a really interesting discussion. So it's just one of those things. You've got to take joy out of the thing that you're doing to bring you joy. So yeah. Oh, let's see. Where did I get to the chat? Darcy says, Lisa, if you're using a pattern, it should recommend some fabric types you need, and never be afraid to ask for a swatch of fabric. Oh, and Lisa says to Darcy, can I request a swatch from online fabric stores? Yes. Textile Express is great for that. They will give you up to 5 samples for free, and postage is free as well. Minerva do make you pay for their samples, because they send you a 10cm swatch. So that one there was £3 for the sample, because they sent me 10cm, the entire width of the fabric. That annoys me, because obviously I don't need that much of it, but that's just their system and what they do. So yeah, you can totally get samples from online stores. Different online stores have different rules and resources about it though. So Stone Fabrics, they send out samples and you get points towards your order. So you do pay for your samples, but you can then, because you have to ring Stone Fabrics to order, they have a website that you can look through and take numbers from, but I think it's a stock maintenance thing. so you actually have to phone them to place an order for fabric from their website. And when you do, you just tell them, oh, I've ordered samples, and they'll be like, yes, we can see that here. And then they take the points off of your order, and so that gets reflected in that. Some websites do a point system where you get points for everything that you order, and then once you get to a certain amount of points, you get a certain amount of money off. Like Lady McElroy, for example, 200 points is worth £10, and that's the most you can use on an order at one time. But for me, it pays for my shipping. So yeah, it might take some research to find ones that work for you in like the system that works for you, but yes, you can definitely find that. Inari says Happy New Year to Australia. Natalie says to Lisa, if it's what you want to wear, don't worry about your age. There are no rules except making yourself happy. Exactly. Catherine says to Lisa, some of the online stores are great at samples. Croft Mills, Dalston Mills, Lamazi, etc. Some are awful, Lady McElroy and Minerva. Yes. Lisa says to Natalie, thank you. That means a lot. Darcy says, yes, you can from many of the mood fabrics to swatches too. Catherine says, prints you don't have to match are very forgiving. Definitely. Yeah, don't start with a check or a tartan. Olivia says, when I battled cancer, it was my faith that got me through. Yeah, I think it was really important for Mum. And it really did make a difference for her. Lisa says, I've heard of Minerva. I get their emails, but the others are new to me, Catherine, but I will note the ones that you listed and have a look. Thank you. Lisa says to Olivia, I am a spiritualist and medium. My church have given me so much support and have gotten me through the worst of year of my life. I think that's what Mum takes from it as well, is the community aspect of it. I think she loves that. Nimoy says, more methods how to do a thing is never bad. I have found my favourite way for an invisible zip in the Sew Over Marguerite instructions. Includes a lot of hand basting, but better results. But the best results I've ever got, worth it. Totally. Olivia says, I don't know how you, all YouTube bloggers, deal with the comments regarding people who think they need to correct you or give you the unsolicited opinions. Yeah. Yeah. Catherine says, dare I say, if your church doesn't support you when you're going through a rough time, it's probably not the right church for you. Yes, I have sobbed my heart out on our associate rector's shoulder. Oh, but yes, I think it is a source of comfort and community and support for a lot of people, which is wonderful. Natalie says, prints go great with jeans. I've found I'm also a bit cautious about prints and colours, but pairing anything with jeans tones it down for me and makes it more comfortable. Nice. Lisa says, thanks, Sean. I wrote down what you said. Awesome. Jojo says, ooh, I dropped off. What have I missed? Pineapple, boob grabs, fabric fondling. None of that. None of that. Joker Clee says, I still dress like I'm a much younger lady. I tell people my actual age only to get a backward looks of sheer surprise. It's hilarious. Lisa says, yep, you missed it all, Jojo. Lol. Catherine says, food. My cat is being demanding with claws. Oh, yes, when the claws come out, then no. Darcy says, Inari, I dress like I'm from a different period in time. It's very confusing for people. Oh, got itchy eyeball. I mean, you guys see how I dress. I love print and colour and all things bright and loud. And I don't really do jeans, as we have seen, but I do very much like jeans on everybody else. Just not met the right pair for me yet. Oh, we're so close to having a back of a lining done. Oh, My pin made a bid for freedom. Karen says, what is the pattern number of your shrug? Thank you. Happy New Year. 7829 or 7892. I think it's 7829. It's McCalls. It's out of print. And it isn't available as a PDF. But I highly recommend, because I absolutely love this thing and I plan on making quite a few this year. Lisa says, I'm ashamed to say that I'm sat here in secondhand next jeans, a Sian t-shirt and a Primark zip-up hoodie. Please don't bat me. Not at all. There's absolutely nothing wrong with how anyone dresses. Whatever you feel comfortable in is, I mean, nobody should be shaming anyone for their choices. There are, you know, fast fashion choices that I don't make because I don't like their ethoses, but that's not to say that I'm right. I buy the amount of fabric I buy, so I'm still, you know, just guilty of a lot of pollution, fabric waste pollution as well. So, you know, it's one of those things, like, everybody can wear whatever they like. I mean, I dress like this because I've made a lot of my clothes, and I make as many clothes as I do so that I can dress like this, but then I dress like this because I've made as many clothes as I have. It's like this vicious circle, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have way more clothes than any one person needs, for sure. And you know, I'm going to make more, but that's not a bad thing. It's my job, and that's why I do make as much as I do, but nobody needs this much. But I love fashion. I always have. No, not fashion. I love clothing and always have, and have always had a way larger wardrobe than I need. But I've always dressed to make myself happy. So, yeah. Darcy says, I wear walking suits from the 1900s and sometimes wear dresses from the 1940s. Ooh, pretty, 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 pretty. Inara says to Darcy, I love your idea. I love torturing people's expectations. I'm sounding pretty right. I'm sounding pretty right this morning. Natalie says, Walmart hoodie and yoga pants at the moment for me, Lisa. Darcy says, Lisa, we wouldn't ban you for wearing clothes. Definitely not. Olivia says, the reason why I thought of her is because she wears some bright patterned fabrics. Oh, did I miss something? Lisa says to Natalie, I feel like I have found a kindred spirit. Darcy says, currently hoodie over a Target dress because I am still waking up, lol. I only dress in my fancy clothes when I am leaving the house. I mean, honestly, guys, it would be super easy for me to wear my tracky bottoms and different knit tops. And I nearly did that today, but then I thought, no, I want to put this one on because I love this dress. It makes me feel really good. I like this combination with this shrug. And I'm going to be hanging out with you guys. And so I'm going to be on camera. And that is a lot of my motivation for getting dressed up of a day, is it makes me feel good. And also I know I'm going to be filming myself. And that's just not to say that I don't wear my tracky bottoms. And I have plans for some more fancy tracky bottoms for next year. There we go, there as well. To kind of like make the ones that I've got work a little harder, because all three of my tracky bottoms, I love them, but they're all pilled massively. So I'm going to make some new ones so they're a little smarter. But, you know, I love clothes in all forms. So yeah, I just know that I could easily wear PJs to work because of how I work and where I work. And then what's the point of me making all the rest of these clothes? So I definitely have embraced I'm going to be thoroughly overdressed for most of the time, but I love it. Lisa says, I like classic pieces that can mix and match, not into current fashion. A lot of it is unflattering and looks like a bin bag. Yeah, I don't follow trends at all. I have found shapes that work for my frame, and my aesthetic and my style, and I now make variations on that. And I did get called out a little bit one year by somebody who was just like, you used to experiment more and now you just make fit and flare dresses, it's boring. And it's like, okay, yeah, but also fit and flare dresses suit me, and a lot of the other things I experimented with did not. And not only suit me, but I feel good in them and I feel comfortable in them. It's like that pencil dress that I made earlier last year. I have not worn that out of the house. I'm keeping it because it was the first time I'd made something from my block and it fitted and it looked amazing, but I've not worn it and I don't know if I would. Because it really didn't feel like me. And you've got to feel good in your clothes. Confidence in what you're wearing is just as important as what you're actually wearing. And as much as I'm saying that that's important because of how it makes you feel, not how you look or where you got it from. This is awesome. I absolutely love this. Chocolate biscuit. Oh, the softest. Olivia says, I was talking about the YouTube channel My Embellished Life. I completely missed that comment. How did I miss that comment, Olivia? Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. Oh, okay. You were talking about the unsolicited comments. I think. Oh, I haven't seen her. I'll have to have a look. I have to have a look. My Embellished Life. Because we all know I like a bit of over the topness. Lisa says, yeah, but you have a fab figure, Shan. I don't look good like you. Have you heard the saying, inside every fat person is a thin person trying to get out? Okay. Okay. Again, body image is such a personal thing, and it can be very divisive when people talk about it. But I think the important thing is that you wear things that you feel good in. And it might take a while to find those things. And that was one of the reasons I started making clothes, because I could not find on the high street anything that would fit me because of my proportions. I mean, nicer problems to have, I get it. Like, you know, I'm aware that I have a nice figure. And, you know, I don't want to sound big-headed, but, you know, I'm lucky in the way that I look. Lucky is the wrong word, isn't it? It's complete luck and genetics, basically. I keep saying luck. It implies other people are unlucky to not look like me, which is not what I mean at all. I had that pointed out to me when I did my Black Lives Matter video, and it wasn't the statement that I was trying to make, but it was interpreted that way by somebody who pointed it out to me. And when you had, it was like, oh yeah, so luck is the wrong word to use. But I think it's one of those things that everybody has a completely different shape. We're not uniform, cookie cutter blocks of each other, and thank goodness. And I think that if you look at clothing as a way to enhance your personality and make you feel comfortable, then you start looking more confident, and the more confident you look, the better you look, because you're just like, no, this is me, this is how I look, this is how I want to dress, this is me portraying and presenting my personality to the world, and I like me, which again is a lot easier said than done, I appreciate. And again, this is like a minefield of a topic, and I really don't want to say the wrong thing, because I don't obviously ever it's a very, very difficult topic, but I think it's one of those things where you will find something that you love wearing and that makes you feel good about yourself. And when you do that, it's wonderful. And that was a big reason why I got into sewing, because I could never find anything that fit me on the high street. It was never long enough, or if I got it for one size to fit one body part, it didn't fit another, which was very frustrating. So learning to make my own clothes and learning to fit clothes the way that I liked them to fit for me was a really big thing. And I think one of the reasons that I make the things that I make is because I do feel good in them. So it's definitely a good reason to learn how to make your own clothes and how to get things to fit you the way that you want them to, so that you do feel good when you're getting dressed, because that's something everybody should experience for 100%. Darcy says, Lisa, Balenciaga is currently pushing for the trash bag aesthetic to happen. It's so fetch. It's not going to happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. We only wear pink on Wednesdays. And Ari says, don't worry, Lisa. I didn't make your clothes, therefore I can't judge, nor do I care to. Olivia says, she doesn't have a lot of followers, but she's very jolly and will make you smile. I'm going to check her out. Thank you. Lisa says, well, inside me there are 3, and you can visibly see them fighting as I walk down the street. Catherine says, being overdressed when you go out means you get mostly older ladies commenting nicely on your clothes. True. Elena says, the pencil dress was the beginning of this year for now. Yes, for now. Darcy says, Lisa, you need to dress your figure. Check out Victorian bustle dresses. Everyone looks banging in a bustle dress. Ask Noelle Costume Drama. She looks amazing. I loved her Iron Man dress particularly. I know that's a really long ago project now, but it's one of my favourites of hers. Elena says, I feel like I'm a horrible person for mostly lurking today and not being as chatty as usual. Not at all. It's very nice that you've come and joined me at all. So thank you. And Ari says, sometimes younger people would compliment your style. It's happened to me occasionally. Oh, nice. Linda says, is there only me taking Christmas decks down? I have to have the clean house for the new year. We do ours on the 6th. That's the day that Mum wants it done, so we do it on that day. Lisa says to Olivia, I agree. I think Sian would look great in a bin bag. Sian, how do you feel about the new Balenciaga style? I'm not a fan of Balenciaga's bin bag style. No. But thank you. Darcy says to Catherine, I'm hoping you get this a lot. Olivia says, you missed a lot of comments after Rotten Ralph's was talking about 1900s walking suit. I'm so sorry. The chat got away from me. I'm so sorry. Lisa says to Darcy, the bustle sounds an absolutely correct thing I should be wearing. Too little. Why not? I love the fact that Bethany, when she comes to the Goldhawk Road meetups, is in a full 1900s walking suit. She looks amazing. She wore a red tartan one last time. It was brilliant. And Ari says, it happens. Olivia says, not trying to correct you. No, it's fine. I'm just sorry I missed some chat. That was not my intention. Dash says, I love to wear grey. Not sure what that says about me. Nothing wrong with grey. Rotten Ralph says, Lisa, you can wear what makes you feel comfortable and amazing. Exactly. Lisa says, Sian, you could never offend me. Most of my comments are tongue-in-cheek, sweetie. I love the laughing that you're doing with it. But when I talk about those kinds of subjects, it is fraught for people not wanting to understand or willingly misunderstanding my intentions. Eleanor says to Darcy, hello, lovely. I'm elbow deep in chopping all the salads for the evening, so extra quiet today. Catherine says, current fashion seems to be skewed to use the least fabric possible, certainly at the affordable level. Darcy says, I'm coming out in favour of a bustle dress for your everyday wear, Lisa. Fen, you might enjoy it. And to Elena, focus on the knife. Yes. Nimore says, I think the chat might be a bit messed up today. One of my earlier comments apparently didn't show up either. Oh, I did think I'd gone back and tried to find everything, but never mind. Lisa says, yes, my waist has disappeared. Someone stole it in the night and I lost my huge belly. But I paid $7,500 to get that done, to get that gone, lol. Miki says, thinking why I like your vlogs. Part of it is all the colourful things, but as I'm sewing my skirt and putting in bias binding, I realise I'm influenced a lot by you, about how you talk about finishing clothes. I do love a good finish. We all know this. I'm so glad that I'm influencing some of you. Elena says to Darcy, I'm not as good as Kane with knives, but I did go to school for that. But I did go to school for that. But I did become mostly a home mum. Ren says, I love your vlogs. Your fitting skills and style are amazing. Lots of inspiration for me. I have the same issues with no high street garment fitting me. Yeah. Lisa says to Darcy, you're really making me giggle. Love your humour. Thank you. And Ari says, I actually have a bustle skirt pattern in my stash. I bought it about 20 years ago. Ooh. Olivia says, Sean, I want for and love your style. Thank you. Thank you. I was thinking about seeing if I could dig out some of my old photos of my styles over the year and see how it's evolved. Because I used to wear a lot of very short skirts, and I used to wear a lot of pencil dresses. I'll see if I can find pictures and do like an evolution of style, because I always think those can be quite interesting. Oh, these are some curvy seams. Some very curvy seams. Professor Pudge says, agree, Olivia, her style is lovely. Thank you. Olivia says, Sean, because of you, I have upped my finishing game. Oh, I love that. Elena says, it was supposed to be Dut became a home mum instead of a chef, but became a home mum instead of a chef. Oh, okay. Very cool, though. Churn Dash says, when your email comes in, it makes me look up at my email. Oh, thank you. Darcy says, Elena, we can't all be Elliot in the kitchen. No. Professor Pudge says, still looking for my style. I have big boobs. I used to have a small waist and large hips, but I look horrible in fit and flare. Interesting. I think that's one of the issues about us sewing, and I've said this loads of times, is that you can't just try something on to see if you like it on you. Trying a new style or a new silhouette is a commitment, because at the very least you have to make a muslin for it. So yeah, that is one of the downsides of sewing. But then having things fit you perfectly is definitely one of the upsides once you work out what you like. So yeah. Lisa says, I live in a tiny seaside Devon town. If I went out wearing a Victorian style bustle dress, I would be sectioned. Honestly, they have no imagination here. And I think I used to be full on goth. Oh, I would do it. I would totally do it. Laurel says, oh yeah, you're still going. Hello. Hi, Laurel. How are you, my lovely? Did you have a nice Christmas? Lisa says hi to Laurel. Caroline says, okay, loves, got to go now. Happy New Year's from Curden, Mark, and me. Stay safe, everyone. You too. Thank you very much for joining us. Elena says to Darcy, he did the whole season of cooking show, but I'm out for chopping some oily herring. And Darcy says, by which I mean, Elena, you can be like Elliot, I can't. And Lisa says, Happy New Year to Caroline. And Olivia says, Sean, are you planning a Make 9 this year? Yes, I have filmed it. I have planned it. I have put it in places. But I did it with Nicola, and I've got the 3.5 hours down to just over an hour at the moment. And I'm going to refilm some of it because I filmed all of it in one day. And I think it's going to be better if I do some kind of like reacting to, I have an idea for it. So that video will be out in the first 2 weeks of January. But yes, there is a Make 9 planned. Darcy says hi to Laurel. Laurel says Christmas was lovely, thanks. Awesome. Elena says to Darcy, I'm so far from being Elliot that it's beyond imagination. How are we doing for time? 2:15. Sorry, I'm gone into concentration mode. Darcy says, I meant your knife skills in the kitchen. Nimue says, trying on things ready to wear that have no chance of fitting your proportions can also be terrible. I honestly thought dresses didn't suit me until I made one with the waistline not on my ribcage. That's. And Ari says, my New Year's resolution for 2024 is to clean up my home, pulling it out of a hoarder's central. Olivia says, thumbs up, everybody. Yes, there's 88 of us and 70 likes at the moment. 89. Hello, welcome, new person. Lisa says, can anyone please tell me where I can purchase the True Bias Roscoe pattern? From the True Bias, Google it, literally just put in True Bias Roscoe pattern. I would imagine Guthrie and Garni have some. Otherwise, you could probably buy the PDF from True Bias themselves. Elena says to Darcy, in that too. Natalie says, the benefits of living in Toronto is there are plenty of people who dress even more eccentrically than I. Most of the time, nobody looks twice, no matter your style. Nice. Oh, and Catherine says the fold line have it as well. Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. The back lining is complete. How exciting is that? Look at it. Oh. Right, I'm going to continue because I don't need to start doing things for another 45 minutes. So I'm happy to carry on waffling at you guys. Who'd have thunk it? The last hangout of the year and actual sewing occurs because I've got 2 more panels to attach because the front panel of this is obviously the facing, which is out of the wool with interfacing in it. And I have not interfaced or done anything yet. So I would like to get the lining sewn today because that would be nice. And that would mean tomorrow I can come down and work on the body of the coat. So that's exciting. Exciting. Oh, itchy nose. Where did I get to lift a chair? And Ari says, Toronto sounds like my kind of place. Lisa says, Brill, thanks, folks. And Catherine says, in stock in paper for the fold line. Ren says, is this the McCalls 6800? It is indeed. And Rotten Ralph says, I need to send the stitchery to your tutorial for finishing the necklines on wrap dresses. I've just remembered which pattern is that in. It's also, there's a standalone video for that, how to bind a neckline. And I love that grey dress with the purple accents and the hood that she's done. Oh, that is gorgeous. Like I was watching her roundup of everything that she's made over the 2 years, and oh my goodness, I have that pattern, that knit pattern that she loves. And we are talking about the same person, I think. Yeah, we are talking about the same person. That grey hooded jacket with the bishop sleeves. Oh my goodness. I have that pattern. I think I need to get that pattern out of the stash and give that a try. I know she's modified it massively. And I think I need to copy those modifications because I love that. And one of my things that I'd want to do this year, I'm going to be making some very elaborate over-the-top projects. But one of the other things that I want to do is make more comfies, stylish comfies. So, yeah. I think I need a dress like that. But yeah, there is a specific standalone video for finishing a binding on a neckline, a knit neckline. Laurel says, actual sewing. Who are you and what have you done with Shan? I know, right? What is even going on? Lisa says, sorry, looking at the Roscoe pattern, it comes in size 2, in 2 sizes, 0 to 18 and a larger size. I'm an 18 top, 14 bottom. Which size do I need to buy? I would say the 0 to 18, but have a look at the finished garment measurements, which should be included, because indie patterns are pretty good about including finished garment measurements. Natalie says, Happy New Year all. I have to go run errands, but I wish you all the best in the new year to come. You too, Natalie. Thank you for joining us today. It was lovely to see you. Darcy says her hooded dress is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. I loved her patchwork dress as well. I really, really kind of want to do one of those. Let's see. Lisa says, I know that ready-wear sizes are a little different to make it yourself. They are indeed. So not sure which to buy. Catherine says to Lisa, there's also the 14 to 30 PDF version, which the fold line will print for you. Ask them just to print the sizes you want. That's a good option. Darcy says, Lisa, do you know your bust and waist measurements? Nimue says, I have the Stitchery favourite because of you and have made it up. It's lovely and I want to copy her version too. Yeah, I need to do that because that is awesome. I want to do it in like red though. Lamazi has some absolutely gorgeous red French terry. I think I might need some. Okay, so I'm sewing my first side seam and I'm going to do the thing where I stitch from here to here in a long stitch length. And I usually mark it with orange pins. This time I've just doubled up my pins. So that way I'm going to stitch it in a long stitch length and press everything and then unpick that bit. And that'll be where I turn my coat through later. Elena says, I'm hunting that pattern at the moment because of the grey hooded dress. Lisa says to Darcy, my bust is 44, waist is smaller, about 39, I think. Nimue says, also November for the quilt is done, so let's see if I can get December together over the rest of the day. Nice. Very nice. Catherine says, true buy sizes are US ready to wear. Nimue says, I might need some more tea. And Ari says, don't worry, Laurel, Shan is getting an early jump on her New Year's resolution. Nimue says, patchwork dress made from Lady McElroy scraps. Ooh. I'm actually thinking about making some of Mum's crazy quilting scraps or crazy quilting patches and then turning those into a dress. Because a lot of Mum's stash is actually leftovers from my dresses, so it could end up being dresses from, like a dress of dresses kind of thing. Lisa says to Catherine, that's really helpful. I will think I will speak to the fold line. Thank you. Darcy says, Lisa, your measurements should fit into the size on the pattern. April says, Happy New Year all, and to you. Lisa says, thank you to Darcy. Goodness, you girls are so lovely. Thank you for helping me. The hive mind is a good one. Darcy says Happy New Year to April. Lisa says Happy New Year to April. And Anari says Happy New Year to April as well. Darcy says, I meant to say size chart on the pattern, Lisa. Yeah. And Lisa says, yes, Ron Ralph, just found the pattern measurements on the True Bias site. And Darcy says, excellent. Okay, so I am approaching my double pins, which is my point for stopping. So I'm going to back stitch a couple of stitches, leave the needle down, take pins out because I don't sew over pins. I haven't got the same deal with my sewing machine that Bianca has with hers. I'm going to raise my stitch length all the way up and sew this part of my side seam. And I'm sewing this down rather than leaving it open because I'm going to go and press it. And then when I press it, it will have creases in it. And so when I unpick the creases, when I unpick it, it will still have creases in it where it's meant to be sewn back together. So when I come to sew the lining together as the final step for the coat, I will have a line of already marked out stitches that will tell me exactly my seam allowance. And for me, it just makes it easier. So that is why I do that. And then you just need to, when you get to the end of the bit of your turn through pocket kind of thing, bring your stitch length down, back stitch again, and then finish off the seam. Hockey ducky. Side seam 1 complete. Let's do the second one. So this one I can just sew normally. Where did I get to with the chat? Mary says, Happy New Year, Natalie. And Rotten Ralph says, Darcy says, I'm going to make a quilted gambeson and have been very tempted by Victorian crazy quilting methods. Ooh, that's going to look fun. Yeah, I'm quite tempted to give that a go. The only thing is I'm going to want like a full skirt. So that's going to be a lot of crazy quilt panels that I have to put together. But I do think it will be awesome. And the majority of them don't have to be super flashy with all the bits and pieces that, like, you know, the trim and stuff that Mum has people add. I could do that for the front. And I'm thinking, again, a KB Grace dress, because I could do solid straps and waistband, side panels, and a band around the bottom of the hem. And I think that would look awesome. And it would be a really good way of using up some of the scraps that I have. It would be a mammoth project. It might be another one that we do on a Sunday hangout. It's kind of like do some crazy quilting squares. But I really fancy tackling some over-the-top mammoth projects this year, as well as like other ones, little ones. That's why I've got quite a lot of knit projects on my list as well, because I do think that will stop me from going completely insane. Okay. 3 more long seams and then 2 shoulder seams, but I need to press everything before I can do the shoulder seams. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. I'm so looking forward to this coat. I've got quite a lot of coat projects that I want to work on this year as well. I've got a cream one there. I'm going to do the Deer and Doe Nazon trench coat, but I'm going to fully line it because the interlining, I didn't overly love the finish that was achievable. And I'm going to make it a little bit longer as well. And I need to bring because I found the shoulder seams on that one, they went a little too far. I should have done a 40 rather than a 42. So I need to do a little bit of tweaking to the pattern. But I really liked the black one that I made. I just never wore it because it was black. So I've given it to Mum and she does wear it. But I want to try and make it as long as I can. I've only got 3 meters of that clotted cream wool. So it will be as long as I can get out of that 3 meters of wool. And fully line it with the Anaconda Antithesis lining, Lotus lining that I've got back there. Not Lotus lining, Lena lining. The Vogue coat. I've got a McCalls Yaya Han one that I want to try. And then once I've got the green coat done, I'm going to see how much of the fabric I've got left because I want to try the holly jacket with some tartan that I've got. And then solid sleeves. I've got so many coats that I want to give a go. I don't need any more coats, but I want to make them. Because I enjoy making coats. Okay. Great. So that's 2 side seams on. Ooh. This is going to be a big old coat when I get to all of it done. Where did I get to with the check? Carol says, have you seen the Perfect Jacket YouTube? She makes amazing jackets, but you should see the patchwork dresses she does. I haven't. I will check that out. Thank you. Darcy says, I have had a rotation of cats sleeping next to me. I'm thinking it might be a conspiracy. Oh, yeah, they're on a shift basis. Rachel Lynn says, that's because you have a newfangled machine rather than a classic. Rotten Rav says, Carol Silverford, thank you for the information. Lisa says to Darcy, don't trust him, those cats are scheming. I think I'm just going to get the PDF of the Roscoe sizes 0 to 18. I have very little money now, so if I get the PDF for 13 quid, I can save up and buy fabric next month. Nice. Darcy says, crazy quilt squares for a patchwork skirt sounds like fun. And Ari says to Rotten Ralph, Darcy and her cute kitties, a heart-melting moment. And Darcy says, I have 3 kitties. Oh, so cute. Nimue says, the strawberry patchwork skirt that's been on my list for years is one reason I'm not doing a temperature project next year. I want to dedicate time to that and some others. Nice. Darcy says, the coat is going to be beautiful, hopefully. Ren says, what colour do the main fabrics? Sorry, I missed the start of the stream. It is bright red. Inari says 3 kitties, 7 them right up. Lisa says, I am enjoying this live so much. You are all such lovely people. You're making me feel happy instead of deep depression I have been in for all the year. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for joining us. And that's what this little part at the corner of the internet is escapism, definitely. Darcy says, Nimue, you should definitely make a strawberry skirt. It will be amazing. Lisa says to Darcy, I have 3 now. I had 5 before Christmas, 2 of my own and 3 Fosters. Darcy says to Lisa, we can't foster. My husband refuses to let them go. Lisa says, lol to Darcy, I'm a foster coordinator for the local feline charity. Larry, I have the foster I have now is my 59th foster cat. Darcy says to Ren, the main colour is red. Nimue says to Darcy, I've done all the math and I'm hunting for a little bit of extra fabric I need. I'll have to start soon if I want it for strawberry season. Oh yeah. Kristen says, I'm making my son a coat, but I need to add interlining and lining, so I'm nervous about it. You can do it. Catherine says, coats are massively satisfying makes, just a shame they're so expensive if you need long and full-skirted ones. Yes. Box says to Carol, yes, she makes the most beautiful jackets ever, and the layer cake dress. I'm gonna have to check this out. Thank you for all the recommendations. Got to love a good YouTube recommendation. Right, we are on to the last panels of the lining. I mean, there's still obviously the sleeves to do, but last panels of the chocolate biscuit silk. Okay. We can do this. We can do this. We can do it. Okay. So it is this bit that gets sewn to this bit. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. Got to love it when the notches line up. Carol says to Darcy and Shan, it's a deep rabbit hole, lots of content, and the jackets are amazing. Having heavily beaded lady Chanel jackets. Ooh, nice. Fox says, Peeps, help. Have any of you made the Sicily slip dress? Any idea if UB is only short? I'm really hoping it's not. I saw your post earlier. It was on Instagram. I want to do the cowl neckline with the thicker straps, but the longer length. So I think it's dependent on the width of your fabric. But I hope that you can do the longer length. Okay. Have I got this lined up correctly? I think I have. Is that right? Yes, that is right. That's got to be right. But that's my intention, is to make that combination of things. I think because the cowl is, or the facing is built into the pattern box, so that's why the cowl, which is slightly bigger for the strapped version because it has to be all the way up, I think that one is why that one's a shorter length. But I do think if you picked a clever point to seam the facing onto the outer, as in if you kind of because the basically the top of the dress folds back on itself to form the facing, so I think you can seam that together as long as you're clever about where you put that seam in, so that you could perhaps use a less wide fabric. At least that is my theory and what I'm hoping to do if I can't get the longer length on the width of fabric that I have. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, I found this on the web and what I'm hoping to do if I can't get the longer length on the fabric that I have. Check it out.
Thanks, Siri, but I didn't actually ask you for anything. Shush. That was random. Lisa says, I would love to make a Chanel style edge-to-edge jacket. Are they difficult to make? I have never tried, and I think there's a lot of hand sewing in there, and I definitely think that's a project for when you're feeling more comfortable with fitting yourself. I think Laurel's in the middle of making one of those at this moment in time. It's definitely not a first project, for sure, but it's definitely doable. Again, if you break things down into chunks, then anything's doable. Catherine says to Kristen, if you treat the interlining as underlining, apply each piece to the main fabric before you make the coat up. It might be easier. Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I'm doing with mine. Vox says, it's the fabric issue. We'll check and extend as much as possible. I would not wear the short version. Same either. And she says, great idea, thanks. No worries. Let me know how you get on and if it is a viable, if that is a viable option, because that's what I'm thinking of doing for mine, like I say, because I will be making mine. Laurel says, I'm jealous of all you peeps getting to sew this weekend and holiday. I've had 2 clients drop 3 jobs on me since the 27th. Rude. That is very rude. How very dare they? Honestly, though, I really only came back to the sewing room yesterday. I have been in a vegetative state. I have literally lain like broccoli since since Christmas. It has been glorious. Darcy says, I'm hopeful that I will move past my current paralysed craft brain. Yes. So lack of sojo or craft paralysis sucks. Fox says, I will try that also with the facing. I think it'll work. In my head it works. I mean, you obviously have to be careful about the type of your fabric you're using. If you're using a really lightweight, slinky fabric, you want to be really careful with the seam finish that you use so you don't add bulk in any area that's going to really show. But I think it'll work. In my head, it works. You all know my head is a disturbing place to be, though, so I could be completely wrong. And again, I've never made the Sicily slip dress, so Lisa says, oh my gosh, disembodied voice. I will not have anything like Siri or Alexa in my house. I think it would die of fright if I did, lol. Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. Siri's never done that before. It's weird. Alexa every now and again will pipe up, but she's not piped up either time that I've said her name. Kristen says to Catherine, thanks for the tip. Carol says to Lisa, depends on how authentic you want your jacket to be. A simple collarless jacket should be okay. Inara says, interesting what bright red from your point of view translate as orange on my phone. Hence, better to see it in person. Yeah, interesting. Peter says, Claire B. Schaefer has a book that includes a DVD covering the construction of a Chanel jacket. I used her skirt one and it was great to learn the couture techniques. Nice. Lisa says to Carol, I was thinking of a simple version. I have made a couple of kimono jackets that are reversible, so lining and bagging out is not a problem. The Coco jacket from Sew Over It is a good Chanel dupe. Catherine says, I've been working through Doctor Who from Christopher Eccleston onward. I'm up to the Toclafine episode with the Master. Ooh. Toclafine. Oh, and the Master. The Jacoby Master. Was it Tarek Jacoby that did it? Oh, I haven't watched those in ages. Lisa says, anyone know of a simple collarless jacket pattern? Sew Over It Coco. Have a look at that one. Lisa says, oh, thanks. We'll check out the Sew Over It Coco jacket. Darcy says, the slip dress is completely in the bias. If you need more length, you can extend the length the same way you might a bias binding. You might want to consider French seaming the joint to be less bulky. Yes, totally. That is definitely something to consider. You do not want bulky seams in slinky fabrics. Laurel says, Coco's a dress pattern. Can't think of the jacket name, but I'm sure it starts with a C. So whether it's Coco jacket is a jacket, isn't it? Coco, there's a Coco dress with Tilly in the buttons. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. I mean, she kind of named it after. Laura says, oh, sorry over it. I was thinking of Tilly. Yeah. Fox says, thank you to Darcy. Darcy says, you're with 10 and Martha Jones. Fantastic point. Nimue says, the sew over at Coco isn't very difficult. Had some issues with notches along one seam. Had just ignored them. Do you measure the sleeves width at the top and the bottom? Sew over its sleeves, lean narrow, and mine was tight on the underarms. Very true. Laurel says, oh, sew over it. I was thinking of Tilly. And Lisa says, oh, sew over it. Coco jacket is in the sale. Nice. Darcy says, you're with my poor brain. Ineri says, I am the same way, Lisa. Rather, machines weren't talking directly at me either. And Lisa says, PDF is £9.45. Bargain. We are getting there with this lining, and my tummy's starting to rumble. I really do want to get this finished today, though. I think I'm going to do that sneaky thing where I just press the top bits of the two seams that need to be sewn together for the shoulder seam, and then come back and press the rest of it a little bit later, because otherwise there's a good sort of like 30 minutes of pressing here, which would be very antisocial to leave you guys for that long. Either that or I just won't sew the shoulder seams today, which is probably a better option because it will be easier to press the seams if this is flat. Come on. Hup. Trim threads. Threads are trimmed. Darcy says, my most advanced technology is my oven currently. Nice. Lisa says, okay, so how do I make the sleeves wider at the top to fit my bingo wings? You need to do a full bicep adjustment, and I would Google. But it would definitely not be the very first project I did. I would start with your PJ bottoms and your Roscoe blouse, and start with those ones. But the Coco jacket is a nice simple one to try for sure. But yeah, you need to Google a full bicep adjustment. Catherine says, would think the most evil part of making a Chanel style jacket would be working with the classic loose woven tweed. Yes. It wants to disintegrate the second you look at it. Darcy says, Lisa, you're going to need to slash and spread the upper sleeve and mock up the sleeve and armhole, which has another more technical name, armscye. Yes. Lisa says to Catherine, you could cut the pattern pieces and stitch close to the edge within the seam allowance to prevent fraying. Definitely one way of doing it, for sure. I think Darcy says mock-up is your friend, 100%. Lisa says, thanks, Sean. Bicep adjustment now on my list of things to learn. Yeah, I had to do those, and I think I used cashmerette. Laurel says, Catherine, my loose woven matte cut silk isn't even as loosely woven as tweed, and the bottom layer shifts a couple of millimeters as I machine sew. Even with hand basting, might have to hand sew everything. Ugh. Jojo says, I love being a peep. I'm listening along and really inspired to get back into my sewing room. I'm itching to get back at it, just not today, lol. Thank you, you lovely beings of light and positivity. Aww. Aww. Thank you for being my potato friend. I do genuinely think we have one of the nicest corners of the internet, for sure. Peter says, but the lining is hand quilted to the loose tweed fabric, so it retains its shape. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into a Chanel style jacket, for sure. Darcy says, if you apply the same sort of stabilizer you use for embroidery, it will keep your fabric from fraying. Ooh, interesting. Lisa says, thanks, Sean. Cashmerette got it. I use them for full bust adjustments as well. They've got some really good tutorials on there. Rachel Lynn says, gotta run. Happy New Year all. You too, Rachel Lynn. Thank you for joining us. Carol says to Laurel, do you have a walking foot? And Darcy says goodbye to Rachel Lynn. My stomach is rumbling. Oh, dear. Jojo says, I always have to do a full bicep adjustment for sew over it patterns. It's really easy to do. Yeah, they do draft their sleeves very narrow. Debbie says, or to Jojo, not the bicep, the previous comment, not the bicep adjustment comment. At least I'm thinking that. And Debbie says, Tato friends for life. Twins. Yes. Tatos. Laurel says, yes, she has got a walking foot to Carol and she's been using it and it's still doing the slippery thing. Laurel's been working on it during the Patreon Peeps Hangouts on Wednesday nights. And it's been really interesting to see the amount of pins that you put in and it still went walkabout, even after hand basting. Lisa says, huge bingo wings. If I fell out of a plane, I wouldn't need a parachute. You guys have such ways with words. Right. Oh, this might be the last thing I sew in 2023. Because I'm going to be good and press this properly whilst it's still flat. So I will pin the shoulder seams together and try it on. But this is going to be my last line of stitching in 2023. How exciting. So the concentration face has come back out. Lisa says, I'm like a human flying squirrel, just not as active, lol. Such a way with words. Debbie says, in the shed, having a good tidy up. Got my fabrics and hardware for Erica's new bag and itching to get started on it. Ooh, what colour are you doing? I love the Baden. I haven't been paid yet, so I'm waiting till payday to buy my copy. I get paid tomorrow, so I can't decide what I want to do for that one. It is beautiful. Catherine says trouser fronts are complete. Now onto the back. Very nice. Darcy says to Lisa, I have no torso. My ribs are inside my pelvis for the floating rib. It's kind of strange. That does look strange. Okay. So close. Debbie says, I'm going purple. I'll put a photo in the Peeps group later. Yes, please. I'm so close. Actual sewing during a live hangout. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Okay. So I'm just going to pin the shoulder seams together because there is, to be fair, it's only really one seam that needs to be pressed, but it does need to be pressed. So that I can try this on because there is a good, as I say, there's a good half hour of pressing here. Thankfully, this cotton silk presses beautifully. So it's not like it's going to be, you know, like a poly that I have to fight with. It will behave itself, but it will be much easier to press if it is all lying flat. Lining. So bear in mind, this doesn't have its last front panel pieces on, so it's going to look like it's way too small. And obviously I'm going to try this on inside out so you can actually see the lining. Yeah. And I have only just got pins in the shoulder seam, so they might unpin themselves. Wouldn't surprise me. See? Oh, fuck. And it hasn't been pressed. which will make a huge difference. Oh, it's gonna be so cool. Oh, and this lining is about an inch shorter than the actual coat, and it is just about an inch shorter than my Jackie dress, so it's a length that I like as well. Oh, hello. This is so cool. Okay, now I've got to get out of it. Carefully, carefully. Sorry, I'm a talking body. There is no head. There is no head. Just body. But oh, I'm so pleased. It's going to be so cool. But it all needs pressing, so I'm going to hang it up for now. There we go. These hot. Oh, itch apples. But it's going to look really cool. Let's see, where did I get to? We did it. Elena says, hurrah, I am done. Nice. Lisa says to Catherine, I'm a 44B, I'm so ashamed. And then Catherine says to Lisa, no shame needed, it's just numbers to get the right fit. Exactly. Exactly. Like, we have to give them numbers so that we can have reference points. So honestly, just numbers. Nimue says, making a self-drafted bag from that oil slick puffer material was my alternate plan for today. Maybe it'll be my first project of the new year tomorrow. Nice. Jojo says to Debbie, must be feeling rather reflective today, feeling thankful, very sloppy, lol. Lisa says, I have to buy my bras on eBay new as they don't do my size in the shops. Nimue says, oh yay, it's raining, just what we needed, not. Darcy says, I used to offer my friends one of my cup sizes because I was a ballerina and big boobs is a problem. Laurel says, I must love you and leave you, work calls. I've taken my ADHD meds, and if I don't switch to work soon, I'll only focus on sewing. Happy New Year, you wonderful people. You too, Laurel. Thank you very much for joining us today. Elena says, purple. Purple is the best club to be in. Darcy says, is agreeing with Elena. Catherine says, what are you lining the sleeves with? Lotus lining from Lady McElroy in chocolate brown. I did have red, but the very lovely Charlotte, thank you. I knew it began with a C, but I was talking to Catherine, so I was like, Catherine, Charlotte, the very lovely Charlotte, bless her, sent me coffees to buy the chocolate brown lining for my Berda dirndl, and I thought, you know what, because of the postage, I will buy 2 meters of it, because it ended up being like £3 more rather than the like £9 that the actual fabric costs, so that I can have a brown lining for this, because otherwise it would have been the red Lotus lining, but I had brown, so yes. Darcy says bye to Laurel. Nimue says Happy New Year, Laurel. Hope today isn't all work. Lisa says Happy New Year to Laurel. Debbie says to Jojo, I'm a bit today too. Cried over a kitty I've never met. Full on ugly crying. Oh, you guys. Darcy says to Debbie, oh no. Elena says, Debbie says to Elena, it's my favourite, purple. Catherine says, best coat, epic coat. Nimue says the lining looks sweet. Darcy says, woohoo, complete lining. Elena says, it's nice to see you extra happy. Ralph says, facings and sleeves are finishing. Yes. And Jojo says, the lining looks amazing. Thank you. Kristen says, that looks nice. It was nice chatting with you all. Hope your New Year's are lovely. Ralph says, I was a 30D US bra at 14. Lisa says, oh, just looked on So Over It, bought the Cocoa jacket a few years ago. I can print it again. Excited. Ah, nice. That is going to be it for today. That was 3.5 hours of waffle and sewing. Who'd have thunk it? I've had a lovely time. Thank you so much for talking me into doing these 2 hangouts on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. It's been a lot of fun, and so many of you joined as well, which is amazing. Thank you. I want to say as well, thank you very, very much for all of these hangouts every Sunday. I have had a absolutely crappy pants year, and these Sunday hangouts have been a highlight for me, a huge bright point, and I have really looked forward to them. So I'm so pleased that you guys enjoy them, and I'm so pleased that you guys want to come and hang out with me in my sewing room whilst I waffle at you. I am so grateful of you. I think Vox has just said something very similar. I'm so grateful for all of you, and you genuinely have been a huge high point for my 2023. There have been so many sucky moments, but you guys have definitely not been one of them, and this channel and these hangouts have been amazing, and I absolutely cherish each and every one of you. Even if you don't say anything during the hangouts, if you just come and lurk in the background, and for all the very chatty people as well, it's amazing. So thank you very much. I hope everyone has a wonderful New Year's. I'm going to go up to the main house now, like I said earlier, make some dinner for, well, picky bits for Mum, Dad and I. We're going to play games, we're going to have champagne, and we're going to have a very chilled and relaxed entrance into 2024. I'm going to catch up with the chat because some of you guys have been saying some stuff, and then I really will let you go. Dusty says ta-ta for now, Peeps. Catherine says thanks for the company. Fox says, I know this is not Thanksgiving, but I'm very happy to have this online sewing community. I don't have people who sew in my life to share this hobby passion with. Thank you, Peeps. Happy, healthy and crafty 2024. You too. And Ari says, I've had to leave briefly. I had to listen to Trent Reznor and Atticus Rose, Technically Missing. I was picturing myself dancing wildly in fancy medieval Renaissance dress in the magenta floral print. Nice. Elena says, thank you, and we'll be here again next year. Thank you. Lisa says, brilliant. Thank you, Shan. I love your lives and the chink of my light. You are a chink of light in my dark times, and I appreciate you all so much. Sending much love and happy New Year. Jojo says, happy New Year all. Love you. Let's make 2024 a corker of the year for us all. April so says, heart and celebration. Ren says, thank you for getting me through making 8 tea towels. Have a great evening. You too. Bev Ann says, thank you for all you do. Bye. Darcy says, we will enjoy seeing you in the new year. Fox says, have a lovely chill night. You too. Debbie says, happy new year. Nimri says, hanging out with all of you is always my favourite time of the week. Happy new year with lots of health and sewing time for you all. Lisa says, I'm going to eat a homemade soup, carrot and parsnip. 15p bags are pre-Xmas at Tesco. Would have been rude not to buy them, definitely. And Ari says, happy new year, everyone. Julie Elizabeth says, happy new year. And Christine says, the coat is going to be beautiful. Thank you, Christine. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, keeping me company, keeping me somewhat sane, and just joining me for all the Sundays that you have this year. Happy new year, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful time, whatever you do. And I will see you in 2024. And now I have to try and end things gracefully, as always. I'll see you very soon. Bye.